Devices apparently become weapons in Lebanon.
Yesterday, pagers exploded. Today, handheld radios carried by members of Hezbollah exploded. We did confirm with a top U.S. official that Israel was behind yesterday's explosions. We have yet to confirm that Israel's behind today's explosions.
Fox's Nate Foy in Tel Aviv. More than 20 people have been killed in all, including 2 children, with thousands wounded. The pagers and radios reportedly had been purchased by Hezbollah several months ago. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Egypt, telling reporters
the United States did not know about, nor was it involved in these incidents, and we're still gathering the information and gathering the facts.
The U.S. still pushing for a ceasefire and hostage deal in Gaza, where Israel is fighting Hamas. Israel's defense minister just declaring the start of a new phase of war, with the army turning attention to the northern front against Hezbollah militants in Lebanon. He did not mention the device explosions, but praised Israeli security agencies for very impressive results. Temporary layoffs on the way at Boeing. The CEO says the company will furlough a large number of executives, managers, and other employees to conserve cash as a machinists' strike continues. The furloughs will be for 1 week every 4 weeks, and senior executives, including the CEO, will take pay cuts for the rest of the strike. Just days after an apparent second attempt on his life, there's a Trump rally tonight.
Officials on New York's Long Island say the site for former President Trump's rally will be secure, with state police working with the Secret Service in preparation.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Crowds gathering already for that, while Vice President Kamala Harris speaks this afternoon at a Congressional Hispanic Caucus event. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Not much in the way of fall weather as we go through this afternoon. 89, 90 should do it for the high. All about sunshine. Tonight, clear skies, 80s for evening plans, 66 for the low. Thursday, do it again. Sunny skies near 90. Friday, a couple of spot showers Friday morning, but most of the day is partly sunny. Friday afternoon's a little bit on the hot side, 92. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
If you've been dragging your feet waiting for the perfect opportunity to consolidate your debt, start an overdue home remodel, refinance to a shorter term, or get rid of that dreaded PMI, then now is the time to give me, Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage, a call at 314-336-6050. Interest rates have come down and home values are up. I'm here in St. Louis, and when you call, you will speak to me. Whether you are purchasing your first home, your dream home, or needing to refinance your current home, call a local lender. Call Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage. I will give you straightforward answers and develop a plan that fits your goals. My direct number is 314-336-6050. 314-336-6050. Or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage, LLC, 224143, NMLS 250353.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do. So great ideas can happen right now. Bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thank you for tuning in to 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Is that the red light? Is this happening?
That's the red light.
I didn't know
I just
that.
noticed that when you turned it on.
All righty then. We're still broadcasting in the studio in the corner of KMOX over here on KFDK as they are sprucing up the technology in the 97.1 studio. So we appreciate you being with us today and hang out for chaos to ensue. Ryan, this is the actual truth. Ryan is in the studio with us the entire show to stabilize things.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
Yeah.
I like that the show started with you guys going, hey, we're going to do the show. Hey, a thing!
Can you explain
Look at that thing!
Can you explain what we just discovered here in the studio?
There's a light. Somebody put a red cloth over it to make it look like it's a on-air light.
So in radio, a little behind-the-scenes information, when a microphone is open, which means that it's on, there's traditionally a light in the studio that is red. So it's like, hey, everybody, the people can hear you.
Be careful what you're saying now.
Yeah. Know that you are being heard over the broadcast so that you're not talking over commercials or whatever. Yesterday, we didn't have that, so we had to be super careful. And this time, I think it's a floodlight with white paper, or red paper, I'm sorry.
Or a bag.
That's good. I like it.
It's on. It works.
It's an addition. It's kind of, to me, it reminds me a little bit of like Kamala Harris's solution to a problem. It's like you need to know that the microphones are open. So you put that together and you're like, see, it's a new way forward.
The reason it reminds me of Kamala Harris is because red reminds me of communism.
There.
And I'll just go ahead and leave that. Thank you very much.
No,
been a great start to the show.
Good night, everybody.
And it's pink, so it's a little deceptive.
True.
It's like headed there.
Yeah. It's yeah, right. You're on their way.
Yeah. I've seen a lot more reaction to the National Association of Black Journalists comments that were made yesterday. The interview between Kamala Harris and that panel. And it's the same organization. Remember that really super hostile back and forth between Donald Trump? And when he showed up, they started 40 minutes late. Kamala Harris had committed to being there but wasn't. And then they came up, Donald Trump sits down, and like the first thing that is said is, why are you so racist? I mean, that's a summary.
It was fire breathing from the get-go. They were singeing his eyebrows.
And Donald Trump, politically, could be argued, shouldn't go do that event. But he shows up. He continues to show up, just like he shows up on ABC in front of those clowns who ran that second debate. He showed up at CNN when you've got, as he used to call him, Fake Tapper and Dana Bash. And that turned out to play out in a way that ended the career of the current president of the United States, which is quite a sentence. He showed up. He said, you tell me where and when, and I'll be there. And Kamala Harris runs scared from every opportunity she gets to be in front of somebody who would even marginally push back against her. And I just think that, the National Association of Black Journalists is a perfect example of the difference between these two candidates. They are not the same.
Yeah, yesterday when we were, I think it was the 145 segment, we had just gotten done interviewing Andy McCarthy, or you did, and we just said, okay, she's speaking. We went live to it. We didn't have any idea what she was talking about in a given moment. We went live to it. And right when we turned it on, the question was, you may be slipping among black men. What are you doing to reach out more to get the votes of black men? She then goes into a pre-scripted answer that she's given about 5 times already about economics. That really didn't have to do with race, which is good, because economics should not have to do with race. So that's a step forward. But it was all about small businesses and tax credit, like basically government handouts. It's such a swing and a miss for her to continually do this with the economy, because she's not speaking to 90% of America when she's talking to small business owners. And small business owners don't believe her because they're better with money than her. So I don't know that she has an economic plan.
I am floored, especially after having seen Matt Walsh's latest movie in theaters, which I get I A, paid for my ticket to go see it. B, we're trying to get Matt Walsh on the show. He's been on the show before. I've had dinner with Matt Walsh before, so I have a professional, moderate relationship with him as somebody who interviews people. We're trying to get him on the show right now. I get nothing for telling you to go see this movie other than the fact that you absolutely need to go see Am I Racist in the theaters right now. You will laugh so hard. You will be super uncomfortable, and you will be laughing, and it exposes the entire grift that is the race portion of the culture wars we're facing right now. The movie does not make the case that racism doesn't exist. The movie is not out there to make the case that there aren't racist white people, there aren't racist black people, that racism doesn't exist. The idea of the movie is to prove that the current face of anti-racism in the United States is so inverted and upside down and backwards. It kind of sounds like Sunny Hostin.
It just seems to me that since she is in an interracial marriage, she should have known that to support a racist is problematic. Her children are biracial, and her family is one of the families that in the 70s could not have lived in any of Donald Trump's buildings. So it just seems to me that maybe she's just not that politically savvy.
So Sunny Hostin has the stones to go criticize Brittany Mahomes and her biracial children, and is black-splaining to Brittany Mahomes about what it's like to know and understand black people. When Patrick Mahomes is her husband, her children are biracial. I don't understand the upside down that we're living in, where any normal, independently thinking person of any walk of life, of any racial skin tone, hears Sunny Hostin and goes, that's right, you tell Brittany Mahomes. Brittany Mahomes is in a relationship with somebody who loves her, who has married her, who's created a family with her, and Sunny Hostin is going to explain it to her? Like, maybe it's possible, Sunny, that Brittany Mahomes and Patrick Mahomes, we've played that clip on this show, has very smartly been like, I'm a football player. I'm not here to tell anybody who to vote for. I think you should vote. But that's not my place. It's not my interest. I like people who support both sides. And that's like Elfine for Patrick Mahomes. But Sunny Hostin is so disgusted with the idea that a white woman out there, and is Patrick Mahomes, he's biracial, isn't he?
Yeah.
A biracial, I would assume that he could claim to be black. I don't know what the rules are. I don't really care about the rules because they're just people. They're people. But to Sunny Hostin, they're not. They're pawns. And the color of your pawn indicates what you are to do next with your life. And if it doesn't go the way Sunny Hostin says, I'll quote the President of the United States. If you don't vote for Kamala Harris, you ain't black. I mean, that's the way these people think. And it's outrageous. And it's really untenable in a civilized society. There's no way you unite people with the Sunny Hostin mentality.
No, it's deliberately divisive. It disappoints me that there are people that apparently that we're interacting with every day. I don't know all the time that like Sunny Hostin who walk around and they see the world through racial lenses. Every single possible problem can be described by the color of somebody's skin and their background, basically outward characteristics. It disappoints me even more that we're at a place in culture where she is elevated to the place where she's at by
she
people
even has the right to say
who are in charge
platform.
of ABC and The View. They chose her deliberately to share those views, and they do this across all their platforms. It's not just The View; it is across all of these networks, all of these newspapers. That's the goal that they're trying to instill on all of America.
Well, I was going to say, to bring it back full circle, seeing people by their race, by their sex, by their sexual orientation, all of that stuff, that's all a goal of DEI. I forget what they call it. There's a name for it. Man, it's escaping me now. But anyway, they want to chop everybody up into little manageable groups. You fit into this category. You forget intersectionality is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
You fit into this category, or you fit into this category, and you fit into this category, and then your importance is based on the hierarchy of victimhood. So you get, for lack of a better term, points for being and falling into these different categories. And really, at the end of the day, it's not anything to make stuff better, because I would argue that race relations were better when I was younger. You know,
in the 90s, I mean, I've always been a white person, but I don't remember this kind of division existing when I was a kid.
Right.
And I went to school with multiracial people, more white people than not. I think that it probably reflected somewhat of the racial makeup of the area I was in. But right now it's like the topic. It's the leading topic of everything cultural that we discuss.
It's frustrating to me, because rather than moving forward and coming together, and me seeing Annie as Annie and Annie seeing me as Brad, rather than our race, our sex, or our sexual orientation, we have to look at these other things that really, in the scheme of things, matter less than who we are as a person.
And if you watch, which, Brad, you've seen Am I Racist?
Yes.
I've seen Am I Racist? If you watch it, like the whole purpose of anti-racism is that the first thing you're supposed to see is color. It's the opposite of what we were raised to think. The whole, there's even one time where someone brings up Martin Luther King Jr. and the person in the film scoffs at the idea of the suggestion, and you're like kind of leaning forward in your chair, and you just sit back and you're like, whoa, what is this? This is not what I know. Let's talk more about this throughout the course of the show. We're going to have Deroy Murdock on at 107, and I'm excited to talk to Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi about the Police Association. He's the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. We're going to talk to him about crime, law, and order and this election. But we've got Dr. Marty Makary coming up next, and this is something that I'm really opening my eyes to here. Listen to his words.
Well, look, we get groupthink in medicine, and we get things wrong. And when you've got a small group of people at the top making decisions for everybody on public health, we tend to have a lousy track record. We said opioids were not addictive for 30 years, igniting the opioid epidemic. We said peanut butter should be avoided in infants, igniting the modern-day peanut allergy epidemic. We got the food pyramid wrong, the low-fat diet wrong. So there are many things where we should actually have more civil discourse and open discussion. And maybe we need to treat more diabetes with cooking classes than just putting people on meds. We've got the most over-medicated population in the history of the world. Half of our nation's kids have obesity or diabetes. We've got to try something different. We've got to look at our poison food supply, these engineered food additives, the role of pesticides and what it's doing to gut health in children. Autism has gone up 14% every year for the last 23 years. And in my field of pancreatic cancer rates have doubled in the last 2 decades. We've got to talk about the root causes of these chronic diseases, not just medicating people.
I consider myself to be a pretty educated person, especially about topics that are on the leading forefront of politics and news and so on and so forth. But the RFK Jr. addition to the MAGA movement and the Make America Healthy Again movement, I mean, I'm like eyes wide open on it, because we have heard some of the things that are being said by RFK Jr. for decades and previously kind of written it off as Looney Tune stuff. But it's medically provable in many cases that a lot of the things that we're consuming are harming us. And when you're a thought leader, when you're at the front of discussions like this, you have to be willing to sound crazy at first if you're convinced that you're right. And Dr. Marty Makary is one of the people. He's Johns Hopkins professor, surgeon, author. His book's out right now. It's Blind Spots. So we're going to talk to him next. But I don't know about you. I mean, raising a family, especially with my kids, I've always tried. Growing up in the 90s, I feel like all we ate was non-food food.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't like
and
our
nobody
parents
said anything.
Our parents weren't making decisions about feeding us that were educatedly irresponsible decisions. You just ate stuff that lasted forever out of a box. It would never perish.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was like 20 that somebody told me, all you're eating is carbs.
Right.
I was like, I didn't even know. Like, this stuff was kind of groundbreaking 20, 30 years ago. And when you hear RFK talk about this stuff, you're right. He's not necessarily saying anything that you've never heard before. What he's saying that's shocking, that's making people's eyes open, is the government knows all this and they're all in bed together.
Sure.
That needs to change. And that's what's making people go, oh, I didn't even realize that could be changed.
Well, I'm really excited to talk to Dr. Makary when we come back. His book is Blind Spots, and he says that we need to start asking questions that challenge deeply held assumptions in medicine. Ryan, I might ask you to jump in on this one,
Sure.
too, because I know that everybody in this room has various experiences with medicines and with different conditions. And, Dr. Makary is bringing to the forefront conversations and blind spots that we need to be having. So I'm excited to have that conversation next. So don't go away. Dr. Makary on the Annie Fry Show next. In the YouTube live chat poll, are you paying attention to polls? We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. You're listening to the Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I want to talk to you about Lutheran education. I also want to talk to you about BREW in the Lou. You guys have probably heard about BREW in the Lou, brewinthelou.com for tickets. It's a major fundraiser for Lutheran education. And I went to Lutheran schools myself, and I look back and I am so grateful that my parents did what they needed to do to make Lutheran education possible for myself and for my siblings. And I work very hard right now to make it possible for my kids. I've got 4 kids, and 3 of them are in Lutheran schools. The youngest will be soon enough. And when I send my kids to school, I'm just going to talk to you as a mom right now. I've got copy points to tell you about how great it is, but I'm just going to tell you about my experience that I'm investing in myself. When I turn my kids over to their teachers, to their administrators, to their coaches, to their music teachers, to the people who teach them, STEM skills, when I turn them over, I have no concerns about what they're learning. None. In fact, we're all on the same team. We're all advocating for the same thing. We care about their Christian faith first and foremost, but we care about getting them a great education that's not distracted by all of these cultural things that are taking place that are infiltrating the classrooms and infiltrating your children's lives, sometimes without you even knowing. I have none of those questions. And I want to tell you this as well. You can afford a Lutheran education. You can afford one for your kid. You have to have the conversation. You have to go to lisastl.org/Annie, LESASTL.org/Annie. You can afford it. If you have grandchildren, you can afford to make this a possibility for them as well. It is going to be the greatest investment that you ever make. It's your children. It's your grandchildren. Make the investment. Learn more about how it can be affordable and accessible for you. Go to LESA, LESA, LESASTL.org/Annie.
If you're considering new windows, there's nowhere else to go but Window World. Mark Cox here. My friends at Window World are doing something now they've never done before. That is offering up to 36 months interest-free financing for your purchase. So you get the great windows put in now, you get the energy efficiency, the great look, and then you have 36 months to pay for it. How about that? Window World has been around for a long time, and their reputation speaks for itself. They are highly rated in the Better Business Bureau and all of the rating agencies. They're big supporters of our St. Louis Blues. And here's the thing. If you mention you heard this on the Mark Cox Morning Show in 97.1, you're going to be entered in a drawing for 4 Blues tickets during the upcoming season. And that's great. They're going to pick a winner every month, and good luck to you. If you need new windows, I'm telling you, Window World is the way to go. 314-993-1800. That's 993-1800 or windowworldstlouis.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDRURYLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Wednesday, September 25th, join the Annie Fry Show in St. Charles as we support Princess Storm's annual diaper drive. You can buy diapers at Ruler Foods to donate right there on the spot, or bring your own. Come say hi. Wednesday, September 25th.
I get up, I get down, and I'm jumping.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So I got an apartment across from the park. Put quinoa in my fridge, still I'm not feeling right. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to go.
Here we go.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. We appreciate your time. I want to get directly to our next guest because I'm incredibly excited to speak today with Dr. Marty Makary. You know him and you've heard of him, and he's written books before, but his new one out is Blind Spots. Doctor, thank you for the time today. It's a real honor to have you back on the show with us.
Great to be with you, Annie.
I'm looking at some of the things that Blind Spots is covering, and what you're really doing is trying to upend the groupthink that takes place in all of our medical thinking, all of our novice medical thinking. There are a lot of assumptions that people make, and you're trying to call them to the forefront. Give us a highlight of how you got to the point where you wanted to put this down in words in a book to change the way people process medical attention.
Well, there's a bunch of giant areas in medical science
that we don't traditionally talk about in hospitals, and that is gut health and the microbiome, our poison food supply, ultra-processed foods, the role of pesticides and seed oils. These are things that relate to every aspect of American health. And so people need to know the truth. So a bunch of us as doctors now are trying to go directly to the public to educate them, because these are not things you hear about in your typical doctor's visits. The benefits of hormone replacement therapy at the time of menopause for women are overwhelming, reducing Alzheimer's risk and cognitive decline, reducing the risk of heart attacks, and having stronger bones. So people need to know about all these topics I read about. And so that's why I wrote this book.
I appreciate that so much because, you know, one of the things that you talk a lot about is gut health. And I want to start with that. I just, so many women, I'm 40, I've had 4 kids, and so many women my age are dealing with gut issues. A lot of them are trying to figure out ways to, you know, stay in shape, to make sure they maintain their weight, and they're trying to maintain their lifestyles as well. And there's always a lot of convenience things offered that you can invest in to try to help you along that way. But gut health seems to be such a problem. And I have dear friends of mine who are basically my age who have died of colon cancer at such a young age before they even recommend that you go get your colonoscopy. Tell us what we have been thinking about gut health and where we should be shifting our focus.
Well, new research is showing that gut health is central to everything. So we call it the microbiome. We're talking about the different bacteria that normally live in the gut, that normally line the intestine. These are millions of different bacteria that live in a harmony, and they're involved in digestion. They train the immune system. They make serotonin, involved in mood. And when it's out of balance, when we mess with it, it can cause inflammation. And that's one of the reasons we think colon cancer is going up in young people. You've heard about colon cancer going up in young people. One study found colon cancer is higher in people that were born by C-section, which we know changes the microbiome. Antibiotics change the microbiome. Now, both can save lives, C-sections can save lives, but they're both massively overused. So when you hear someone say, you know, I'm taking an antibiotic, or I want to take an antibiotic, there's no downsides. No, it alters the microbiome. And when kids take antibiotics they don't need, the kids are more obese. It's something they've noticed in animals for a long time on farms. When you give animals antibiotics, they're fatter, and that's because it changes their microbiome. So we need to preserve healthy microbiomes, eat good whole foods, avoid seed oils and pesticides. If pesticides kill pests, what do you think they're doing to the bacteria in the microbiome?
Right. Yeah, destroying it.
Dr. Marty, this is Ryan Wiggins. I just wonder what, you know, the things that you're saying, they don't sound revolutionary to me, yet you're up against a lot. You know, why is it that you seem to be somebody who people are saying, well, I'm gonna push back on that? What are the systems that are in place that are resistant to hearing what you have to say?
Well, there's a lot of groupthink. It's in medicine, but it's in society in general, and it's just permeated medicine. You know, take vaccines, for example. Vaccines are important. They save lives. Most of them are very crucial. But if we could took 1% of our enthusiasm as a medical profession, of the absolutism by which we talk about vaccines, and talked about our poison food supply, it's like unheard of. We never heard about obesity during the pandemic. We don't talk about certain things like gut health, and that's just because of the group thing. Doctors are not bad people. I think we've done a terrible thing to doctors in America. We've told them to focus on billing and coding in short visits, and we have not given them the time or resources to talk about the root causes. If you ask why chronic diseases are going way up, they might say, well, it's because of obesity. Well, obesity is a symptom of a larger problem, and that is a poisoned food supply.
We're speaking with Dr. Marty Makary. He's a Johns Hopkins professor, surgeon, public health expert, and author of his new book out, which I just got on Audible right now, so you can get it wherever you get your books. It's called Blind Spots. I look forward to reading it and learning from it. How much of the solution to the problems that you pose, the things that you bring to the light in Blind Spots, how much of it is just the reader can make those choices for themselves and can choose to live a healthier life and make healthier decisions. And how much are, average folks like myself up against a system that is making it too expensive or too impossible to be able to get healthy foods to keep their body healthy the way it needs to be?
Well, we've been fed many lies by big food, big ag, and big pharma. Big pharma has a hammerlock on American medicine and on our institutions, medical schools, and even the regulators. And the reality is we've got the most over-medicated population in the history of the world when we can be making better decisions. And a lot of the information we give people is wrong. Doctors have been telling patients for 60 years to avoid fat, to eat low-fat foods. Well, I go through in the book Blind Spots why that was wrong advice, and it still looms large today. We can prevent our peanut allergy epidemic by introducing a little peanut butter when children are 5 or 6 months of age in infancy. The modern-day peanut allergy epidemic was ignited by the medical establishment giving wrong advice on peanut avoidance in the first 3 years of life. Hormone therapy. So there's a lot of things people need to know about that we're not talking about in medicine that we should be talking about. Maybe we need to treat more diabetes with cooking classes instead of just throwing insulin to people. Maybe we need to treat more high blood pressure by talking about sleep quality, not just throwing meds at people. And maybe we need to talk about school lunch programs, not just putting every overweight kid on Ozempic.
I hear in a lot of what you're calling to the forefront here, Dr. Makary with us right now, is that there are a lot of quick fixes that are being sold to the American people. And the quick fixes are not actually fixing the problem, not even quickly or even at all. Is it a capitalistic mentality that's hurting Americans' ability to make good decisions? Are there policies that need to be changed at a governmental level?
Well, we need to do a lot of things. First of all, we need to get rid of all the corruption. All these so-called experts that are conflicted, they're getting paid off by the industry. We've got to deal with the subsidies that make a lot of these bad foods so cheap, and that's why they use them in the ultra-processed world. 10 to 20% of the calories that we take in our diet today in America are from seed oil derivatives. They sound healthy, like vegetable oil, but it's not. It's denatured, and it's turned into a chemical. People should be cooking with extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil and coconut oil. So people need to know the truth for their own day-to-day decisions, and we need some big policy changes as well at a federal level.
Dr. Makary, I apologize if this is a question that you answer a lot, but as a novice, I hear these words like the food supply is poisoned. And I just wonder, is there a brief explanation you can give to somebody like me who is just kind of learning this to understand that when we hear that phrase, what that means?
Sure. Well, we have 1,000 ingredients in our food supply that have been banned in Europe and Canada. Kellogg's makes 2 versions of Fruit Loops, one for the U.S. with all kinds of chemicals, and one for Canada where they don't allow those chemicals. Take bread, for example. We strip it of its fiber and then chop it up into pieces that's so small, it's basically functioning like sugar. Refined flour is often turned into sugar. And we wonder why kids are not paying attention after their school lunches. We wonder why we're ushering in this epidemic where half of our nation's children are obese or overweight. It wasn't true just a generation ago. It's only 3% of children in Japan are obese or overweight. A pediatrician would rarely see a case of type 2 diabetes one generation ago. Now, 1 in 3 kids born today will go on to have diabetes or prediabetes. So we've got to stop and ask, what are we doing? And that's something that we've not been willing to do. We have a food supply that was built for food insecurity. Make it as cheap as possible for mass production. Well, what we're realizing is we just got the sickest population in the history of the world. We can't just keep medicating everybody. We need to realize the cost of creating all these sicknesses. Because when you put a lot of the chemicals down somebody's GI tract, what's happening is their body is reacting, and it's making them feel sick. Their bodies are reacting at the level of the intestine with an inflammatory response, not a giant acute inflammatory response when you eat these chemicals, a low-grade inflammatory response, making people feel blah. They feel sick. And we can't just keep medicating all these kids.
Yeah. I relate to all of this so much, and I can't wait to read Blind Spots by Dr. Marty Makary. We really appreciate your time today. We might ask you to come back again and talk a little bit more about the book and keep informing people about these things, kind of breaking the norms as to how we feel and think about our own medical care, but just our general health decisions in the first place. Doctor, thank you for being with us today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks so much.
Of course. We appreciate you. Dr. Marty Makary, Johns Hopkins professor, surgeon, public health expert, advocate for healthcare transparency. I feel like the things that he's explaining about how your destroyed GI tract is making Americans feel, I absolutely feel that. I've always been somebody who's had to monitor my health. And if I didn't pay attention to things, I don't have a naturally, on fire metabolism. I need to work for every pound that I don't gain and like 3 times as hard for one that I want to lose. And I feel like when he talks about how people just feel blah, and then he says they feel sick, when I started training and eating specifically to fly with the Blue Angels so that I could try to handle that, I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought, I'm just going to do the best I can. Probably going to fly in a Super Hornet, F-18 Super Hornet, and barf anyway. But let me put myself in the best position so that when I do this, I don't think, well, if I weren't a slob, I wouldn't have had. And I did that. And I started in March. I flew in, I think it was the first week of June, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I started eating protein and fiber and just trying to eat clean things. I didn't count calories at all. And I've always counted calories. I've realized that I'm not eating enough calories, actually. I need to eat more calories, and when I go to eat more calories, I just need to make sure that they're good calories. And then if it has fat in it, that doesn't inherently make it bad. If you're eating a lot of protein, if it happens to be red meat, that isn't inherently bad. There's all of these things. I think most of you guys know what this is like to sit there and you're trying to make healthy decisions, and it feels like you're being shouted at from 8 million different directions. You better not touch that, and you have to eat all of this, and they're all conflicting. And at the end of the day, you just still feel sick because what we're putting in our body, even when it's with the best of intentions, is inundated with things that I essentially tell my kids, if God made it, you can have it. And the closer you can get food from the way God made it, if it grows out of the ground or if it walks on land, and even at that point, if you're eating beef that's being fed by pesticide-grown feed and that the meat is being shot full of antibiotics, it's so much work just to eat healthy. And I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I'm gonna consume this one pretty quickly.
It seems like we're at a point in America right now where this has been bubbling up under the surface for a while, and it's now just becoming an issue that, okay, everybody has heard this. Seems like most people are on the same page. Like, something needs to be done here, that within a generation, our food supply will look different than it does now.
Yeah, I hope so. And I mean, a huge influence that RFK Jr. can have should Donald Trump become the president of the United States. He's going to have a huge influence on this. It's brought in a whole contingent of people into the Trump side of this political movement that I really feel like you could make an enormous impact on the future health of this country. And without that joint venture, I don't think it happens the way it could possibly happen right now. So I'm here for it, and I'm looking forward to reading Blind Spots. Go get that book wherever you get your books from. I do Audible. I get my books on Audible. All right, let's take a quick break. Wiggins America, when we come back, how to respond to someone who is giving you the silent treatment.
According to psychologists.
Okay, I know you sent stuff, but we've been so busy that I didn't read any of it. So I have no idea what's coming.
Good.
Or maybe I was just giving you the silent treatment. We'll be right back.
Let's go out with the gang.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
We'll begin with a 1 or a 2. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to grow.
Metronome.
So I want to talk to you about Ruler Foods. I'm so excited. 1 week from today, we won't be broadcasting from this ancillary studio. We will be broadcasting from the St. Charles Ruler Foods in support of the Princess Storm Diaper Drive. Is this the third year we've done this? Fourth?
Yes, third.
At least the third. The third year that we have been taking our audience and wrapping our arms around Princess Storm and her audience to help get diapers on babies' bottoms here locally in St. Louis. I need your help, but you got to come out to Ruler Foods next Wednesday. And bonus, if you haven't ever been to a Ruler Foods, this is your opportunity to check one out. I love the Ruler Foods in St. Charles. When you go in there and you look around the store, you're going to be like, okay, I get it now. I understand what Annie has been talking about. We'll be broadcasting from noon to 3, so come out and see us and bring some diapers. You can bring diapers from wherever, but you can absolutely buy them from Ruler Foods as well. And you can enjoy the savings that Ruler Foods has to offer at the same time. Remember, they carry Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. So if you're looking to save, make sure that you check out Ruler Foods. You can also schedule delivery. So remember, delivery is available through Ruler Foods. Find the one closest to you. Go to rulerfoods.com.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, October 1st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Thomas and Bob with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Are you concerned how this coming election can affect the stock market and your retirement? Would you like to have a personalized structured income plan that shows you the monthly income you can receive and how to never outlive it?
Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any more losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss the last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, October 1st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Want immediate cash for your home or see what your home is really worth in today's market? Find out for free from the local experts. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. 314-336-1991. Check out thegelmanteam.com today. That's thegelmanteam.com.
Today's poll is, are you paying attention to polls? Woo! Yes or no? And I got a problem with you if you aren't. So why don't you come along and let us know and then leave a comment. Many people not only referencing the polls in their comments, but referencing me in the comments. So apparently I have a reputation as somebody who likes to watch the polls. I'm a yes on this. I'll just go ahead and tell you right now. It's the YouTube live chat poll of the day. Let us know what the polls mean to you. It is 12:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Freedom of thought. Freedom of speech. It's defended here on your home for conservative talk and conservative values. 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I don't know if you ever give anybody the silent treatment, but there's a lot of reasons why you may be giving somebody the silent treatment.
I don't particularly give people the silent treatment, but if I'm mad, I get real quiet.
So
I don't know
you're
if that's
giving
the
people
same
the silent
thing.
treatment. Yes.
I'm not, but I mean, I feel like if you say you're giving someone the silent treatment, it's like an active thing you're doing to someone to affect them.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep my mouth shut.
So you're doing something in retaliation or in response to somebody doing something that involves you being silent.
No.
It doesn't.
I'll say it slower this time.
Okay.
I'm not doing something in reaction to to a situation that has happened. If it has upset me, if it's a problem, I will get quiet, not to do that to people, but because the alternative is me not being quiet, which at that point in time while I'm quiet, it's because should I use the words that I am thinking and wanting to say, it would make the situation infinitely worse.
I'm going to read a few reasons why you might be doing that.
Okay. Did I write this article?
Dr. Joel Frank.
I'm not a yeller. I just want to put that out there that I am not somebody who, like, if I get to the point where I am raising my voice, it's too late.
I'm a yeller, and I'm old. I'm old yeller. These are reasons.
More like old yeller.
These are reasons. No, I'm not a coward. And I'm not really even that much of a yeller.
But you are old.
But I'm old. I'm older than you guys. Man, 43, starting to feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to spread out the age on a show, you know? You need multiple perspectives. That's why you're here.
Yeah, I'm the old voice.
Senior citizen.
You guys are like a year and a half younger than me, and so you can provide the Gen Z view.
You watch your mouth. We give you the silent treatment for the
These
rest
are
of the
really
show.
are. Now, this is what these doctors from the Duality Psychological Services have said. This is why you may retreat into or choose to participate in the silent treatment. Number one, a desire to avoid conflict. That's pretty much what you said.
Number one.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's why you're doing it, is because you think if I say something now, it's going to make things worse.
The intention, it's like the best I can do at that time.
I understand.
And it's like, you don't want to say something that you would regret saying later on because you're angry. You don't want to say something that might hurt the other person that you didn't really mean because you're mad in that instance. But, like what you're reading there sounds more like that person is saying that you're saying you don't want to say anything because I'll just make it worse, and it's
Yeah, it's less of an active silence, I got to hold myself back.
It's a self-control. Yeah, that is more of a.
It's more of I'm going to run away from the situation.
But I do it when I do it. It's more of a I need to.
I'm not running away.
Yeah, I'm
holding myself back.
Self-control.
Yeah, you're not yellow. Emotionally overwhelmed. You are so emotionally overwhelmed by the moment that you decide I better not say anything. That's kind of what.
I've been like that before, but it's not when that situation is happening, it's usually when I realize that I'm more emotional than rational.
Okay.
And that usually happens in things like sports, where it doesn't really matter. Like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling a type of way, which could be really good. If something really good happens, for instance, we had a volleyball tournament a couple weekends ago, and my younger girls, we won the consolation bracket of this tournament, but we were an underaged group of girls, and I just had to stop at the end of that. Instead of getting super duper crazy excited, I just had to stop and take it in because I wanted to be like, Wah! I wanted to be super excited, and I'm like, I'm a grown woman. You can't do that here in front of these people.
That's the way I felt about Mike Jones and the tackle, 1999-2000. I just sat there on the couch.
I let that out. I let that out so much.
If you're in your own living room, it's jumping up and down, going crazy.
How about this one? You go silent in an attempt to manipulate, punish, and exert power over another person.
That's what I do.
Is it?
Not intentionally.
Does it work?
I think that's the aggressive silent treatment.
Yes.
It's like, especially if you know that that's the type of thing that's going to really upset somebody, is to get the silent treatment. If you're talking to someone who needs to talk the things through immediately, and you're the type of person who doesn't, you could passive aggressively do that to somebody. So that's like a move. That's a maneuver. That's not holding yourself back.
And that's not what you said you do.
That's not what I say that I do.
You're just
I don't know
holding
if that's
yourself.
what you guys feel that's what I do.
Well, next time it happens, we'll let you know.
That would be a great idea.
Won't.
That'd be a great idea.
We will not let you know.
do that, and then you'll
moment,
go, you're right, she shouldn't have opened her mouth. She should have stayed quiet.
Yeah. But I think that one's the one that people perceive is happening the most.
Yes.
Yeah. Or this is the other side of that. It's an attention-seeking attempt. So you're actually trying to bring the focus
where
back
you're like
onto yourself.
more present than you've ever been, but you're not saying
but
words.
You're not saying anything.
That's what one of my children does. I won't tell you which one, but they just like show up and like pass through the room with stone cold eyes and no words. And if you ask them a question, they're like,
This one seems like it could be related to all of them.
Yeah.
It's just hurt feelings. You're not talking because your feelings are hurt. But you could be doing multiple other of these along with having hurt feelings. It seems like your feelings are going to be hurt in any of these circumstances.
unless you don't have them.
Like who?
I don't know anybody like that. No.
Lack of communication skills. I like that they listed this one like, you know what? Maybe you're just not good at talking.
That baby just won't say a word to me.
All she does is cry.
And the last one, you need to think and process something before proceeding. That one seems very mature. That's probably the reason to do the silent treatment.
That, to me, goes hand in hand with, was it the first one? Mm-hmm. That's like... The alternative to being quiet right now is talking, and these aren't the words that should be said. Mm-hmm.
Now, here are a couple
ways. Are
ways.
you capable of the silent treatment?
Oh, yeah, I can, but I can't do it for a long time. I can for a while I'm like, I just need space. I need to get away.
Can I make a assumption about you?
I don't have to agree with it, do I?
No.
Okay.
You could correct me. I would like to know if I'm wrong. Okay. You're the type of person who would do silent treatment to get attention so that you could get something talked about. I don't say that in like if you're giving someone the silent treatment, you're doing it to get somebody to understand that you're upset.
I would say yes, but then again, you could say that about any of these, and I'd be like, "Yep, that's me." I'm all of those.
I don't think you're a silent treatment guy, though.
I'm usually not. I usually want to address a problem if there is a problem.
Yeah,
like quickly because I'm uncomfortable with it.
Ryan and I had an argument one time, and you asked me if you could give me a hug afterwards.
Did I really?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember this.
I hate hugging.
That's a terrible idea.
I to this day don't know if that was your checkmate.
Whoa, really?
Yes.
See, that's how much I wasn't trying to do anything weird because I don't even remember.
We were headbutting pretty bad, and we got to a resolution, and it was good. And you're like, I really just want to give you a hug. Can I give you a hug? Which she asked. That was nice. And I was like, yeah.
Did I do it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Man, I wish I could remember what that was.
I thought it was a power play.
It might have been. Apparently, I won.
Deroy Murdock next.
Hi, Charles Payne here at one of the exciting Money Show events where I'm presenting the keynote, broadcasting my live TV show, and best of all, giving away free copies of my newest book, Unbreakable Investor. It's a $29.95 value, but if you act now, I'll give you one too.
For your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text CASH to 505-505 and just cover shipping.
Mine has a thing and Ryan has a file
to 505-505. Text CASH to 505-505.
I'm handing you my investing playbook, 348 pages on how I personally invest to target the biggest returns while mitigating risk. It's how I've been with the market so I never break. Guidance so crucial for today's investors that I'm covering the cost of the book and giving you a copy for free.
To get your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text the word CASH to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text CASH to 505-505 while supplies last. Text CASH to 505-505 right now.
So I want to talk to you about Jen Teskey and RE/MAX Alliance. When you reach out to Jen Teskey at jenteskeyhomes.com, 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010. You're going to get hooked up with the best in the business. RE/MAX Alliance and Jen Teskey, they know what they're doing. They have a ton of experience. The name means a lot. Excuse me. Actually, there are houses that are right across the street from me right now that are listed by Jen Teskey. And I know it's because people trust her. People know that she's going to get the job done. She understands the market, and she is going to hustle for you. She understands also, like today, the Fed is going to meet. That's going to mean rates, we assume, are going to probably come down. You need to make sure that you position your home for a fast sale. If there are going to be more buyers in the market and less inventory, you got to toe that line and make sure you get the best sale and the best listing time. She can navigate all of that for you. Just reach her at 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010, jenteskeyhomes.com.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait, this rate won't last forever. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Hey, it's Mark Bearden for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. New Perspective is just opening. I had the chance to take a tour and meet the staff. I got to tell you, this place is amazing. They offer state-of-the-art independent or assisted living as well as memory care. Imagine your loved one enjoying delicious meals, activities, entertainment, and even an AI fall detection system. New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. That's npseniorliving.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A new phase of war. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's how Israel's defense minister is describing a focus on the northern front against Hezbollah militants in Lebanon, though he did not mention electronic devices exploding, now blamed for more than 20 deaths and thousands of injuries over 2 days.
ICOM handheld radios have been exploding late this afternoon. The radios were intended to be used as Hezbollah's emergency communication system, but like the pagers which exploded Tuesday, radios are exploding Wednesday.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. Before today's explosions, U.S. sources confirmed to Fox News that Israel was behind the pager attacks. The Israeli prime minister vowing again to return northern residents to their homes. Thousands have been forced out in both Israel and Lebanon because of escalating clashes after the October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel. Vice President Kamala Harris defending her policy goals, including help for first-time homebuyers, at a congressional Hispanic caucus event.
It is part of my perspective that let's just do the work of giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance. Let them get their foot in the door.
She's also asking what former President Trump's call for mass deportations would look like. Trump has pledged to crack down on illegal immigration and what he calls migrant crime. He has a rally tonight on New York's Long Island, 3 days after an apparent second assassination attempt. A Fox News alert now from the Fed, which has just made its first rate cut in more than 4 years. A half-point reduction in the central bank's benchmark interest rate, larger than the typical quarter-point cut, with Fed officials shifting attention to support for a weakening job market after aggressively hiking rates to fight inflation. This cut should lead to lower borrowing costs for consumers and businesses. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Not much in the way of fall weather as we go through this afternoon. 89, 90 should do it for the high, all about sunshine. Tonight, clear skies, 80s for evening plans, 66 for the low. Thursday, do it again, sunny skies near 90. Friday, a couple of spot showers Friday morning, but most of the day is partly sunny. Friday afternoon is a little bit on the hot side, 92. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the home of the bagel loan. You guys understand how much he can help you, right? 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. I'm looking at the news right now, and it says Federal Reserve cuts rates for first time in 4 years, and they said 0.5 point. Call Stewie now. It's going to be an important time to make sure that you can get the bagel loan where you pay nothing in closing costs. Nothing. to refinance your mortgage if you qualify for the bagel loan. And you're going to want to get access to the rates as they react to what the Fed has done today. Reach out to him. Talk to him about how he can help you. Ask him about the bagel loan. Tell him Annie sent you. You're not going to regret this phone call, I promise you. 314-324-4440. And tell him that you're interested in a bagel loan refinance. Tell him you're interested in purchasing a home and you want to make sure you get the best deal possible. He is going to take care of you, and you'll be glad that you did. You can Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
When Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com talks to people about health insurance, they tell him, number 1, my premiums are too much. Number 2, my deductible is so high I never meet it. And number 3, my doctor doesn't accept my plan anymore. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA market. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible. And they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance and available all year long, so you can enroll today. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
During Renewal by Anderson's BOGO Bonanza, buy one, get one 50% off all windows, patio doors, and entry doors when you buy 4 or more. And pay nothing for 18 months. Call by September 30th, 314-720-9200.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
On the defense of this, or I guess on the attack on Democrats on this threat to democracy stuff, is that, for instance, Trump has not committed to accepting the results of the election, right? That sounds to me like a threat to democracy, and I don't think it's that unfair to question someone's commitment to democracy if they're saying that they can't commit to the results of election. Another one is a lot of defenders of the former president have latched on this dictator concept that Kamala Harris said that Trump might be a dictator. He said those words himself. He might have been joking, but he said, I will be a dictator on day one. And I guess I'm struggling with this idea that echoing those points is somehow putting chum in the water.
Well, CNN, their contributor, Elliot Williams, says it's not unfair to say that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. He has been shot at twice, but yes, let's please continue to call him a threat. Let's get Deroy Murdock, our friend on here, nationally syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor. Deroy, we always talk about what's going to happen between the times that we get to speak to one another and we have a second attempt on Donald Trump's life. What are your thoughts and reactions after you heard that had happened a second time?
Annie, good to talk to you again. Yeah, just unbelievable. I mean, every day it's something else. Every week it's something else. And thankfully, Donald J. Trump survived a second assassination attempt against himself in, 6 weeks? Something like that. Unbelievable. And boy, thank God for that Secret Service agent who was able to pick out a gun muzzle at, I assume, a long distance amid a bunch of bushes. I mean, that's, if he'd been distracted or maybe didn't have such good vision, we could be talking about a state funeral underway. Absolutely horrifying. And I wondered why this keeps happening over and over. Is this just incompetence on the part of the management of the Secret Service? Never mind the heroism of those immediately around Trump who threw themselves on him and got between him and any potential bullets. But photographers know that particular part of that golf course, you can sit there and take pictures. Why was there not a Secret Service agent there, at least at the point where Trump was about to come by and make sure nobody sat there with any ulterior motives? This gunman, Routh, however you say his name, was sitting there apparently for about 11 and a half, 12 hours. Did he get some inside information saying that Trump was going to play golf the next day at 1:30? Apparently that was a kind of an unpublicized inside information kind of thing. So how do you know about that? So it's just horrifying, and I just hope that the cat of nine lives has 7 more lives to go.
Deroy, what do you make of that information? It's a very damning piece of evidence that the shooter was there so much earlier than President Trump was in an off-the-record movement. I mean, there are only a few ways that can be explained, and I'm wondering what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it could be that he just happened to be lying in wait, thinking, "Gee, I hope it's sunny Sunday, and Trump happens to come by, and if he does, I'm here waiting for him." Let's hope that's the case. If that's not the case, then the question is somebody on the inside either providing information loosely all over the place, and this guy picked it up, or even worse of all, if somebody said, "Okay, Mr. Ruth, Trump is going to be playing golf tomorrow after about 12:30, 1 o'clock. You know where to go. Sit there and wait for him to come around." And if that's the case, we're dealing with something really, truly, deeply nefarious.
What do you make of the way people are talking about this event after the second time? There's no reason, especially if I'm Donald Trump's daughter or wife or whatever it is, I'm not thinking that time 2 is the last of it at all. And I don't, after the fact, all we see is people talking about who's to blame, about creating a culture where we talk about one another in such vitriolic ways. And people are talking about Donald Trump as if, I've said this on the air, many people have said this as well, that if you have a rape victim and you say that her skirt was too short or she was asking for it, that's like one of the most reprehensible things that you can do. But in theory, that's exactly what they're saying about this man.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically saying, look, if you don't want to get raped, why are you wearing high heels and, bright red lipstick? Yes. Don't do that if you want to same concept. If you don't want to get shot, keep your mouth shut. Unbelievable. And look, these... It'd be a lot easier to be lectured by these people if they were not out there saying things like Rick Wilson, rather, the head or one of the big guys in Lincoln Project, who's a big anti-Trump guy, referring to the donor class. He said they're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact. You've got Johnny Depp, actor. He said, when was the last time an actor assassinated a president? An actress here in New York, Carol Cook is her name. She said, where's John Wilkes Booth when you need him? Madonna, I thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House the day after Trump got inaugurated. So they always say, "Oh, Trump started this, and he's using the political rhetoric." Whoopi Goldberg was on TV yesterday saying, "Oh, one side's doing it; it's not us." No, Whoopi, it is people on the left who are getting up and saying things like Joe Biden himself. I said if I were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. This is violent rhetoric. This isn't we disagree with his views, or we don't like his tax cut, or gee, we wish he'd spend more money on the poor. What have you? No. This is goes beyond. We don't like his hair or his face is too orange. This is beat the guy up, punch him in the face, shoot him, and it's the left saying that about him. And then you call him Hitler. You say he's the biggest threat to democracy. If he gets elected, that'll be the last election in America. And you say this sort of thing over and over. And at some point, somebody who's got a loose microchip in the head says, "Well, I'm going to be a hero. Get a gun and kill the American Hitler before he can come back to power." And this seems like these people, either they are totally reckless and they can't watch themselves, or they deliberately are saying this kind of thing, hoping that somebody somewhere will have that switch in the head flip the wrong way and decide to take it on himself to put an end to Donald J. Trump's life.
Yeah. I mean,
horrifying behavior.
The stakes are really high. I saw Chris Cuomo on his show talking about how reprehensible the reaction is and how we should, on both sides of the aisle, be able to say that this is unacceptable that President Trump's life is under this much threat. I think everybody understands that world leaders like President Trump and President Biden and Kamala Harris, that there are going to be people who want them dead. We know that there are actors in foreign countries that know, should Donald Trump become the president once again, that their ability to exact their power, like Iran, across the world, it's not going to be like it is right now with Joe Biden. They're going to take a much harder stance. What do you think about the politics, if they're at play at all, in the protection that Donald Trump is getting from the Secret Service through the Biden administration?
Well, it seems like they're playing political games and saying, all right, well, we don't particularly care for Trump, so we're going to give him less protection than we would otherwise. The argument is, well, he's a past president, so he doesn't need that much. From my understanding, and I don't have the exact figures on this, but my understanding is Obama gets more protection than Trump does, and Trump's a former president just like Obama. Obama's not running for president, Trump is, so it seems like he ought to get more protection. And given that we already had one assassination attempt that actually hit him. Remember, he was not just, nobody just aimed a gun at him. He actually shot him. And luckily for Trump, he came within about an inch of having a bullet in his head. Luckily, it just grazed his ear. But that's already happened. I think we all thought after that they said, all right, you've been hit once, we're going to increase the security around you. Well, apparently not. That hasn't happened up until Sunday. I hope it's happened now, finally. Do we need a third assassination attempt before Trump gets the full complement of Secret Service agents and all the security procedures and personnel and resources he needs to stay alive? And I would say that if they're Democrats who think, well, we don't care much about Trump, if someone takes him out, whatever. Look, if we start that game and Trump gets killed, I think somebody's going to say, all right, well, that's one from our team, let's get one from your team. And somebody's going to say, all right, we need to take out Kamala, we need to take out Biden, we need to take out Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. I don't want that to happen at all. I hope these people all stay alive and well and, spend time with their friends and families until they grow old and so on. But, it shouldn't surprise anyone that if Trump gets taken out, somebody somewhere is going to think, we need to even the score. So if absolutely for no other reason than their own self-preservation, the Democrats need to get on board with this and lay down the principle that you vote people out of office, you don't kill them, number one, and number two, you protect politicians so they can do what they do, win elections or lose elections safely, and then go about their business. And it's in the interest of people, left, middle, and right, that this be the case, or we're just going to end up in a Beirut type situation that nobody wants.
I want to ask you one last question before we let you go, because Donald Trump has to continue his campaign. Obviously now continuously in the line of fire. That's what we understand about him, and probably what he's understood about the situation for far longer than we have. What do you want to see from President Trump? We've got not very long left in this election cycle, 48 days until Election Day. People are voting right now. What's the winning message from Donald Trump?
Well, I've said all along, focus on public policy. He ought to talk about, he ought to raise the question at every stop he makes, every interview he gives, every TV appearance he does, are you better off now under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, or were you better off under the presidency of Donald J. Trump? And you look at almost any economic metric, you look at the situation at the border, illegal aliens and illegal alien criminals running across the United States of America, chaos in the Middle East, chaos in Europe with Ukraine and Russia. Things were much better when Trump was president. I mean, I think that's an objective reality. You might not like the Twitter posts and some of the comments he made, but you look at the economy, you look at the situation with immigration, you look at the situation with national security overseas, and I don't think you can say anything other than things are better off when we were all better off when Trump was president. I'd make that point over and over. I would stress Kamala Harris's record. I would talk about the nonsense of her nonsensical nature of her proposals. Price gouging, price controls at supermarkets, etc. I always ask the question. I'd like to ask Kamala, what is the proper price for a pork chop? Please tell us that, because you can't control the price, so you know what the price is. So, Madam Vice President, what is the correct price for a pork chop? I'd ask that question. And then I would talk about my own proposals if I were Trump. If I were Trump, he didn't do this in the last debate, and he should have. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits, and now he's talking about restoring the deduction for state and local taxes as well, which I guess he's going to talk about today or tonight in Long Island. And I would talk about those proposals and make sure everybody knows what he's running on, restoring his old tax cuts, stitching up the border, and restoring peace through strength and fighting crime in our streets. And if he talks about that and sticks to that, focuses on that, doesn't get distracted and take the bait when the left tries to get him to talk about all sorts of side issues, I think he can win this election and win comfortably. But he's got to stay at it, work hard, campaign every day. He doesn't seem to be doing quite as many rallies as he did in 2020 or 2016. You got to be doing 2-3 events a day at least.
Yeah.
And stay at it, stick on the issues, and hammer.
Yeah. I mean, if he puts himself out like he did the last time, he's getting shot at. And when you look at the preparation that's going into these rallies with the Secret Service, in some cases, you can't cut any corners. So I kind of wonder if he's pulled back a little bit just for his own safety. But
interesting.
Go ahead.
You could certainly do indoor events. I mean, if you're inside a stadium, they can protect that. Even if you're like at a football stadium where it's open air, but you've got to go through metal detectors to get in, that seems to me like that would be safe. And then certainly one easy way is hold events at airports. I mean, if you're doing stuff where you're inside of an airport hangar with people sort of flowing out onto the tarmac, you can get 10, 20,000 people out there. And if you're in the middle of an airport, you're in somewhere that's going to be really pretty far from. I mean, airports always have a big perimeter around them. So that would seem, just by nature of the way airports work, to be a pretty safe situation.
I think
so. We can do things like that.
Yeah.
But open fields with nearby buildings, maybe that's not a good thing to do for a while.
Thank you for being with us, Deroy. Until next week. Lord knows what will happen.
Until next week. Let's hope it stays calm for next week. All right, Annie. Thanks very much.
Soon.
Take care. Bye.
Nationally syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock. Happy to have him on the show with us. Quick break now, and we're going to come back with Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi. He's the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. He's an officer at the Houston Police Department as well. And he's going to talk to us about the Fraternal Order of Police's endorsement of President Trump. Those people who are effectively out there invested in law and order have said Trump's their guy. And he's going to talk to us. We're going to talk to Lieutenant Joe about that when we come back. The YouTube live chat poll: are you paying attention to polls? Yes or no? Let us know what you think at the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
I ain't seen it all, but I heard that ocean salty, and those stars, they sometimes fall, but they just don't do justice.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I feel for you, so I had to write a song about all the things I knew. My love is deeper than the holler.
Let's talk about STS Armory and how they can help keep you safe, because the Second Amendment is about your protection. And STS Armory respects that. And they're in Illinois. Yeah, see, it happens. I go to STS Armory. I encourage you to check them out as well. You can call them directly if you have questions about inventory they have or something you're looking for. You can talk to them about classes that you're looking to take, maybe first-time firearm safety for your whole family. You can also talk to them about those conceal and carry courses that you're going to need to qualify to carry that firearm. I have to get my renewal done here. I got to work it in my schedule somewhere. And I will go to STS Armory to get that done. You can call them at 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS. But you can also talk to them or check out everything they do by connecting with them at sts-armory.com. Ask them about the different classes that they have. And you can also talk to them about the product that you're searching for. You can even ask them questions about your FOID card and just make sure that you have everything in line. A lot of times the system is slow. They will help you out with that. 618-931-GUNS, online at sts-armory.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at ThrottleNet, and you've probably heard George Rosenthal from ThrottleNet on the show. He's a technology whiz, and George and his team can educate you and your business on the dangers lurking with technology. Here's a unique opportunity along those lines. Does your company have a lunch and learn or guest speakers? For a limited time, ThrottleNet is providing free lunch and learns to provide cybersecurity awareness training. One click can cause a ton of damage to your business. ThrottleNet is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it does, they're the cybersecurity experts who can help. ThrottleNet is known for high customer satisfaction, averaging 99% happiness with over 35,000 surveys. They have an industry-leading response time of less than 2 minutes. And no clients of ThrottleNet have ever paid ransom as a result of a cyber attack. Contact ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971 and we can schedule your free company lunch. Don't miss out. Find out more today about ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Fall weather is on its way. Time to schedule your heating system check to make sure you heat your home safely. Schedule your heating system check today at aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Wednesday afternoon, Fox News contributor Paul Morrow, founder of the OpsDesk.org, will join us. He'll even be at a Trump rally live in New York.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
With over 377,000 members nationwide, our presidential endorsement process is thorough and inclusive, allowing members in each state to make this selection. Specific questions were posed to both candidates regarding policing in America, and candidate interviews were requested. Our members have spoken, and it is my honor to share with you the overwhelming collective will of our membership. We are honored to have with us today the former and future President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and offer him our enthusiastic endorsement. During his time in the White House, we had a partner and a leader. Today, Mr. President, we stand with you. We stand with you and we have your back, and we're committed to work tirelessly for your election.
So there you have it. There you have the clip of the Fraternal Order of Police announcing their endorsement of Donald Trump for president. We welcome onto the show now Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi. He's the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. He's also an officer at the Houston Police Department. Lieutenant, thank you for being back with us today. It's good to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me on.
There's so many huge issues that are at stake with this choice that voters have with this upcoming presidential election. But crime and law and order is at the top of the list for most people. Why is it that Donald Trump was the selection for the Fraternal Order Police for their endorsement?
Well, yeah, there is a whole host of issues that are facing our country right now, but all of them start with public safety. We have to make sure that our communities are safe in order for our economies to thrive, in order for schools to thrive, in order for people to feel just safe interacting in their community with their kids. So it starts with public safety. And it's a clear choice that Donald Trump is the only law and order candidate on the ballot. Let me be clear about something. A Kamala Harris presidency with Tim Walz as vice president would be an unmitigated disaster for public safety. But don't take my word for it. Just listen to the things that she has said. She has loudly and proudly supported defunding the police, going as far as praising Mayor Garcetti when he took $150 million from the LAPD, which, by the way, led to historic murder rates and mass resignations and retirements. She actually encouraged people to donate to a bail fund that were getting rioters out of jail. These were people that were throwing bricks at our head during the 2020 riots, and she helped bail them out of jail. It's insane. And don't even get me started on the border. She wants to abolish ICE. She wants to decriminalize border crossings. How much more evidence do you need? And keep in mind, crime in America is completely out of control. We have averaged over 20,000 homicides a year over the last 3 years. We haven't seen those numbers since the mid-'90s. So you have seen the horrific consequences of these policies. And remember, in her latest interview, and I guess the only interview she's going to do, she said that her beliefs have not changed. She's a radical far-left Democrat, and we cannot afford another 4 years of her.
We're speaking with Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi, the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. You mentioned border policy. You're there in Texas. What's it like to wear the uniform under the border policies of the Biden-Harris administration? Whether you're in Texas or Michigan or Pennsylvania, Nevada, Georgia, when you go out and do your job, what is it like to do that under these very, very lax come-on-in border policies of the Biden-Harris administration?
Well, it's completely out of control. And as you said, it's not just a Texas problem. This is spreading all across the country. For God's sakes, we have a community in Colorado, Aurora, that has been completely taken over by Venezuelan gangs. If you look in New York, in Midtown Manhattan, over 70% of arrests are illegal immigrants. In Queens, over 60% are illegal immigrants. And make no mistake, as police officers, we're going to do our job. We're going to catch the criminals and these dirtbags who come over and have no intentions of assimilating into our life and just committing crimes. And don't get me wrong, there's great people that are coming across the border that just want to make a better life. But we're going to catch these criminals and we're going to put them in jail. But here's the thing. Number one, half the time they're not even getting deported in the first place. And when they are deported, because there's an open border, they just come right back over. So it's as simple as this. If you have a pipe that is leaking in your house, you have to fix the leak. You can't just sit there and keep mopping the floor because you're not going to get anywhere. And with these policies, it have just been a complete failure. Border crossings are through the roof. And if you need any more evidence, for goodness sake, they released 99 known terrorists on the terrorist watch list back into our country. What more evidence do people need that this has been a disaster on our border?
Very well said. Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi with us right now with the Fraternal Order of Police. There is the human problem, the resources that we don't have to spread even thinner for people who are here, who have come here illegally or been welcomed by the Biden-Harris administration. But also there are other sort of criminal activities that happen with this influx of people who are able to traffic drugs into our country, to traffic people, to traffic children. How real
are these other issues that come with these open border policies. What have you seen on the job, and what do Americans not see up front like police officers see every day?
Yeah, I think when people hear about the fentanyl crisis, it's kind of a little bit far away from them if they don't know someone that's been afflicted by it. But let me just tell people, we've had over 100,000 Americans die a year from fentanyl overdose. It is the number one killer of Americans aged 18 to 49 in our country. And it has only gotten worse under this administration because of the open border policies. And we are seeing that firsthand on the front lines. We all have Narcan to try to help people that have been overdosed. But you have to stop the flow before we can fix the problems here in our country. And they don't have any plan whatsoever to stop this, although I guess she's trying to get tough on the border now, but I just don't understand why she hasn't been tough for the last 3.5 years that she's been in charge. She's talking about all the things she's going to do on day one. How about you do it now? And I think people need to understand, not only is it drugs that are being trafficked, there's people as well. I mean, there's not an officer that doesn't have a story about human trafficking and kids that have been brought across the border by the cartels, and it just continues to be a problem.
I want to drill down on that because it's really, to me, the most egregious thing that we know societally. I mean, everybody can talk about the salaciousness of the Epstein story, and there's a lot of intrigue there because of how wild it seems, but it's not like something that we think might be happening. We know that it's happening, and our police officers are being confronted with this every day. And I think that the crime is so heinous. To think about child sex trafficking, it's so heinous that it actually kind of gets pushed off to the side because it's uncomfortable to talk about. Can you tell us what's really going on in our country right now with these children?
No, I mean, it's absolutely horrific. And what I want people to understand is the way the cartels operate is they have multifacets to their business. So drugs are just one part of what they do. Human trafficking is another part. And actually, it's easier for them to traffic people than it is for narcotics because it's not illegal to have people in a car. So they're constantly smuggling people over the border. And when you see these huge surges that get all the news when all these people are trying to come across the border, what do you think's happening about 50 miles down the road? When Border Patrol is completely overloaded in one section, they're trafficking people and narcotics over the other section, and it happens every single day. The only way to stop it is to close our southern border. And we are not a country if we don't have a secure border. And as you say, we're overwhelmed with our resources. We cannot keep up. And the only solution is to, and listen, is it really that controversial to just say we need to prioritize taking care of people who are here, who are citizens, who have come here the right way, who are going through the process the right way, over those who refuse to follow our laws and rules?
Yeah, it's not controversial, and we need to be shouting it from the rooftops. We're speaking with Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi. He's the Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President. Obviously, the wide open borders, the invitation to come here from both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris saying, come on in. Their solution to the problem is to streamline the process of bringing people into the country, to add more paper-pushing agents to the southern border who are not doing what they are trained to do, but they're doing what the Democrat Party needs them to do. Take all of that stuff and set it aside. We have a crime problem in this country without the border problem being involved. We have a who's the victim and who's the victimizer problem, a right and wrong problem. When you look at the Biden-Harris administration and you look at what Kamala Harris, who will remind you every opportunity she gets about the kind of prosecutor that she was, and as an attorney general, as a senator, now as a vice president, what is her record on calling out people who are committing crimes and making sure they are put in a place where they can no longer take out their criminal activity on innocent people? Does she have a positive record on that?
No, she does not. You know, she supports bail reform. She supports the revolving door criminal justice system. As I said, she helped bail rioters out of jail, which, by the way, that fund ended up helping bail out murderers and rapists that would later go on and murder and rape more people. So that's where she stands on crime. And let me just tell you something else that's going on. There is a war on cops that is raging in this country right now, where we don't hear a peep from the Biden-Harris administration about it. I guess they're just too busy handling other issues to talk about the war on cops. We've had over 270 police officers shot this year, Annie. And let me just give you perspective. Back in 2018, we had 237 shot for the whole year. We're already at 270, and we've got 3.5 months to go this year. We are probably going to hit the highest number that we've ever seen in recorded, since we started recording data back in 2018. Shootings of police officers are up 60%. There's one officer shot every 22 hours in this country. And where the hell is the leadership of our country condemning those attacks against law enforcement? A national address saying we will not tolerate this. They're nowhere to be found. So that's where they stand on the war on cops. And yet we have President Trump on the other side, loudly and proudly supporting law enforcement, calling for an end to the violence against us, and the other side is nowhere to be found.
Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi, Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President, I want to thank you for coming on to the show with us, because we absolutely support our men and women who wear the uniform, and we want them to be respected as they deserve to be respected. And it was exciting to see that endorsement of Donald Trump. Last question before we let you go. What do you want him, should he become the president, what do you hope for him to do as the executive in the Oval Office to make your job safer and maybe simpler to do?
Well, I'll tell you this. In his speech, he said he wanted to not defund us, but overfund us. So we certainly appreciate that, number one. But I will tell you this. He also made it very clear that we are going to have an ally in the White House once again that we have not had for the last 3.5 years. He made it very clear that he's going to support harsh penalties on those who assault and murder police officers, including the death penalty, including supporting the Protect and Serve Act, which will make it a federal crime to knowingly assault a police officer. But most of all, we're just going to have someone who's actually going to give a national voice and leadership to the fact that we should not be shooting, assaulting, and murdering police officers in this country. We are not some third world country where this should be the acceptable norm.
Well, Donald Trump is the way to go if that's what we want to have happen. Thank you for being with us today, Lieutenant Joe Gamaldi. It's an honor to speak with you, and we hope that we can reconnect with you again soon, especially on the other end of hopefully a Donald Trump victory in November.
For sure. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, you bet. We appreciate you. You can check him out on X at Joe Gamaldi. He is also an officer at the Houston Police Department. We know people who are in the police force personally here. We know people who have family members who are in the police force. I don't know how they do it. It's almost, in a way, more stressful than if if your loved one is serving in the military. That almost seems more confined and more focused than the randomness of a day for a police officer. You never know what you're getting yourself into, and it's a very scary thing to think about. I always think about the families as much as I think about the officers.
It does seem like we honor our military more than we honor our police officers.
And it's a shame.
It is a shame, especially nowadays. I think one of the things that he was stressing there, especially at the end, that I'm like, we need to be saying that more, was stop lowering your standards.
Right.
Like we in our lifetime remember what it was like to have safer streets and safer neighborhoods. We don't have to accept this now. We are not a third world nation. This is the United States of America.
Yeah, and Annie, to your point, I've got friends that have family members who are police officers and stuff like that, and you never know whenever you're going to get that visit from the department at your door at an odd hour because something happened to your loved one, and they wake up every night. This one particular friend told me a story about police officers coming to his door in the middle of the night, and he said he freaked.
Yeah.
And turns out they were wanting some information, but to worry about your family member every day when they put on that uniform, to not know if they're going to come home or not, that's just something that I don't think people even really stop to consider.
I'm not cut out for that, man. I don't know what my kids are going to do, but I just don't know that I'm cut out for that. And so much mad respect for the families who are dealing with that right now, military or police officers. So incredibly grateful for those who serve and those who love those who serve. That is a tall order. And good to have Joe Gamaldi on here to really drill that down. Let's take a quick break. We got no more guests for the rest of the show. So, Ryan, this is where you take over.
All right, we're going to talk more about the silent treatment, and I am going to practice it.
Oh, no. What if we both do it?
Ooh, Brad, take it over.
I got this.
All right. Jesus, you want to take it out? No.
He can't hit the button fast enough.
He panicked.
I hit the wrong button. Leave me alone.
That's why
I've never taken us out before.
You know, you can do the silent treatment. You can also be a button pusher.
Oh, yeah, you could.
Yeah.
You could.
Let's do
The
Brad.
wrong button.
No, he wasn't.
That's what you are. Which is the wrong button pusher. You want to take us away? You can tease the poll.
Okay.
If you say that we're going to talk about something when we come back.
Wait, that doesn't matter.
If you take us out.
You're right.
Then we're going to have to do that.
Okay, well, today's YouTube live chat poll. Are you paying attention to polls? Yes or no? Jump on Annie's YouTube page and vote and leave us a comment. We'll be right back.
I'm Annie Fry. We'll be right back.
All right, Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloored.com. That's the website. Go check it out and find the flooring that you've been looking for and go shop this weekend, or maybe this week you can go early. You got a freer schedule than I do. You can go on igotfloored.com. That's where my shopping usually begins. But when you go into one of their 3 locations across St. Louis, you're going to be able to see and experience this flooring up close and personal. It's a good move when you're going to make that kind of an investment in your home. They are located on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70 in St. Charles County. You can find them on Olive Boulevard, a mile off 270 West on Olive in West County. And you can also check them out at Darting Prairie. Now, if you were going into the store, tell them Annie sent you and start asking the questions that you need the answers to, because these people know flooring. They are experts at flooring. They eat, sleep, and breathe flooring. And they've been around in St. Louis serving Missouri and Illinois customers for 30 years because they are experts in flooring. If you are looking for value, quality, and great customer service, look no further than Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can find them online right now at igotfloored.com.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, and now is the time to do something about it. With Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Created by a St. Louis physician, Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin is formulated with our proprietary blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Best of all, you can get Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin delivered right to your door with our convenient monthly subscription. Go to neovitamin.com and sign up for a subscription today.
Are you paying attention to polls? What? Why not? Today's YouTube live chat poll is, are you paying attention to polls? So
I thought Annie told you to do something different for this.
I am. I'm basically calling you a hypocrite if you say no to this poll in a poll. So, take that for what it's worth, but I'm just trying to skew the results a little bit because I love polls. Yes or no are your options. Are you paying attention to polls? It is 148. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra will be at Enterprise Center December 18th. Get the best seats by getting your tickets in September for this Christmas season. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, December 18th, 97.1 FM Talk.
I am so high, I can hear heaven.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
No heaven don't hear me. And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The YouTube poll for today. Are you paying attention to polls? Yes or no? What did you tease in your time check? The poll.
I didn't tease that we would be talking about anything, but I did call people out who vote no in this poll because they're participating in a poll.
Participating in a poll doesn't mean you pay attention to polls.
Well, you'd have to pay attention to this poll to participate in it.
You don't have to pay attention to the poll. You don't have to pay attention to how it turns out.
I think you're going to lose this argument.
I don't think I'm going to lose the argument. I don't. That's not.
I think I got you on this one.
I don't think so.
No, I do. I do.
Here's the thing. I don't think I'm going to lose this argument, but I also am not going to put the people of St. Louis through this argument.
Hey, you know what? Me and Brad kind of already hashed it out. So
I got after him.
Brad and I.
Me and Brad and you now all are kind of hashing it out. Is that inappropriate to say?
How many times are you going to say that before you feel like it really, really hits?
You know what? Let's go back to the argument I was winning.
Okay. Which one was that? I wasn't there for that one.
Oh.
Is that why I was out?
No. This is the one about paying attention to a poll in a poll. I think that you have to pay attention to the poll that you're participating in.
Are you paying attention to polls? Indicates multiple polls, not just one. And if you vote in a poll and never follow up on what the results are of that poll, then you didn't pay attention to it.
Mr. Wiggins, 1 minute to respond.
I don't believe that you could ask the question, are you paying attention to poll? Because as you just said, grammar's important. And I'm not sure that you could ask.
You don't seem to agree with that statement, though.
Hey, mics are muted. Muted mics.
The mics aren't muted. This is my show.
Okay. The Jerry Kelly YouTube live chat poll.
It's not the Jerry. That's not true.
You're right.
That's not
You're
right.
That's right. I do that every day.
If you would like to sponsor the poll, we could talk about that.
That's right. The time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly. But if you want to sponsor the poll, the YouTube live chat poll, hey.
I'm going to end this poll and say, who's better, Ryan or Annie?
That's fine. You can do that.
I'm probably going to lose
You can do that.
All the people who want to support Ryan, I hear you. I know.
I have a live on the air question for you. How many subscribers do we have right now on YouTube?
Oh, that's a nice question. Can
it's
you
growing.
Give me a heads up on that? Or just can you fill time with something important and exciting? 8,919.
8,919.
Oh, we need 81 to get to 9,000.
The fun thing about that number is that we were just talking about it last week, and I think it was like 70 to 80, almost 100 less.
It's growing fast.
That's good. That's good news.
Brad had a goal for this year.
Yes, my goal for this year was 10,000 subscribers, so we're closing in on it. When I made that goal,
it wasn't really realistic.
It was an unrealistic goal, but I thought, hey, if we can get the ball rolling, maybe this thing will snowball. And it seems to kind of have done that. I mean, I think we were at 5,000 something whenever I made that goal. So 5,000 in a year is...
Yeah, I'd have to look back and see if there's some sort of video that we have on the channel that marks a certain event that we did something. Was your dance for 4,000?
The dance that Brad and I did with Hannah.
What is that?
It was
Made You Look. That's right.
Yeah, I'll never forget that song.
As long as I live. If I ever hear that song, I think about
this is a little insider baseball, but Annie and I play Fortnite every now and then. And on Fortnite, they have emotes that you can make your character do. So I logged on to Fortnite one time after making that video.
Very close to when you made that video.
Yes. And right after that, there was a Made You Look emote gifted to me from one Annie Fry. And you know what? I still use it.
I gave it to you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
See,
That's like I gave my... I don't know. I've never spent money on Fortnite for myself. I don't think I've spent money on my kids in Fortnite because you can earn stuff and it's like that's what you get. But I did spend like $35 to give my brother the full Ninja Turtle package or whatever because I said I think that this is the perfect gift because he would never spend the money on that, but he was pretty excited.
It's an awesome package.
Yeah.
You guys, speaking of gifts, my wife is still struggling over what to get me. She had an idea, but she needed to run it. So my birthday was Monday. She had to run this by me.
You're still talking about this?
Yeah. She had to run this by me.
We got you gifts.
I'm not talking about you guys. You guys did a great job, and I don't want to compare you to her. That would make her feel terrible.
Have you
my
gotten any saucy
got me
nuggets?
gifts.
Saucy nugs yet?
Last night I did. Yeah, I got some. I got some Baconator fries too. No, I got a Frosty and some Baconator fries, and I did not get the saucy nugs. I should have. I was right on the verge.
I need a saucy nugs tally by the end of that gift card.
But she's really struggling with what to get me, and she. What about if we just go on a date? And I said, here's the date: Saturday. You and I. Am I racist? That's what we're going to do.
That's what we
awesome.
did. That's what my husband and I did for our anniversary.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Good.
So.
You going to go eat first?
Probably.
Where are you going to go?
I don't know. We're talking about this during the show, but probably Andrea's. That's our go-to. We almost don't have to talk about it ahead of time to know.
Almost.
Yeah, we'll probably end up at Andrea's.
Almost don't have to talk about it.
You know what we do? We go and sit in their bar area a lot because you can go have a nice steak dinner and just sit in the normal area.
Where is it located?
Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois. Very, very easy to get to, but it sits off the road a little bit. That's what's so nice about it is that when you go into the restaurant or into even the parking lot, it's like you've like left the.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You kind of get like the pathway that is the driveway is very narrow and you can't actually see it, and then you drive through it. It's like a reveal.
It is. It's I don't
like
know if they
the
intended
reveal.
that, but that is the way that it is.
And then you go in and there's like a house on top.
Have you guys ever been to Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Seems like a weird segue.
No, Pittsburgh, Idaho.
Well, I've not been there either.
I've only been to Pittsburgh,
Went
Idaho.
to Pittsburgh this weekend, or this summer, not this weekend.
This weekend,
No,
Holy cow.
I went to Pittsburgh this summer, and I did not know this. My husband and I had no idea whatsoever. But when you enter Pittsburgh, and we were coming from the airport, you're driving through the mountains, and you go through one of those mountain tunnels, you know?
Oh, that's cool.
And when you come, you're in the tunnel. I don't like them. I don't like tunnels.
Oh, I think they're fun.
I don't like mountain tunnels.
I like to roll them down, listen to my car.
You're driving through. You're fully committed. You can't turn around. There's no off ramp. You're in the mountain.
Yeah.
And you get to the end, and it's like Pittsburgh. It's in the Pittsburgh's in the mountains. We're flat people here, and I am just
flat earthers,
constantly in awe of non-flat land. That's how committed to this portion of the Midwest I am. And I'm like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I Googled, or I think I was on X, and I searched Pittsburgh on there, and somebody had tweeted a video of that. And I'm going to show it to you guys in the break. And it's like the greatest city entrance of all time. And it absolutely is. If you've done that ride, let us know in the YouTube chat. And go vote on the poll that you don't care about. We'll be right back.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Aircomfortservice.com/flash. If you were looking for that flash deal that they're offering right now, this is a must-do. Almost $100 worth of savings because you're going to access a free service call with this flash deal. I've been partnering with Air Comfort Service for a long time, and I don't know that they've ever done this in the time that I've been working with them. So this is kind of an anomaly, and you should take advantage of it because it's not going to last very long. Air Comfort Service has been keeping St. Louis heated in the winters, cooled in the summers. Your comfort zone is right there within reach with the kind and caring and wonderfully talented people at Air Comfort Service. So if you go to aircomfortservice.com/flash, you can reach them for that free service call. If your air conditioner or furnace needs service, visit that website, aircomfortservice.com/flash, and take advantage of this limited time offer. If you don't want to take my word for it, check out their reviews online, aircomfortservice.com/flash.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The Fed makes a bigger move. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. The first rate cut by the central bank in more than 4 years is a half point instead of the typical quarter point after aggressively hiking rates to help tame inflation.
We know that reducing policy restraint too quickly could hinder progress on inflation. At the same time, reducing restraint too slowly could unduly weaken economic activity and employment.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell says they're not on a set course and will make decisions meeting by meeting. But today's guidance from the Fed signals more cutting this year and 4 more rate cuts next year. A Secret Service report expected this week on the Trump shooting in Pennsylvania may be delayed by the investigation of a second assassination attempt in Florida.
The Secret Service report will be a self-reflection sort of report coming from within the agency, looking at what went wrong, what can be done better. 5 people from the service were placed on administrative desk duty, working remotely.
Fox's David Spunt. This week, the acting Secret Service director talked about the need for a paradigm shift. Trump rallies tonight on New York's Long Island. Vice President Kamala Harris speaking earlier to the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, calling them a room full of friends.
She talked about the race and said former President Trump wants to take away Medicare's ability to negotiate lower drug prices and said he'll implement a mass deportation program.
How's that going to happen? Massive raids? Massive detention camps? What are they talking about?
She said immigration reform should include a pathway to citizenship.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The former president argues Harris supports open border policies he says are making the U.S. less safe and more expensive. A second day of exploding devices in Lebanon, this time handheld radios used by Hezbollah. This as Israel's defense chief declares a new phase of war focusing on the northern front without claiming responsibility for sabotaging electronics. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultrafine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need
need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Not much in the way of fall weather as we go through this afternoon. 89, 90 should do it for the high. All about sunshine. Tonight, clear skies, 80s for evening plans, 66 for the low. Thursday, do it again. Sunny skies near 90. Friday, a couple of spot showers Friday morning, but most of the day is partly sunny. Friday afternoon's a little bit on the hot side, 92. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're looking to buy a vehicle, I need you to check out Cassens & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, Wagoneer. They've got a vehicle for you right now. If they don't have one you're looking for, they're going to be able to find the one that you're seeking out. And I think that you'll notice that if you compare prices, Cassens is going to be incredibly competitive. They don't play silly tricks on you like putting some super low price that you're not going to qualify for just to get you on their lot and get you in their doors. They don't do that. I trust Cassens with my car purchases. I trust them to care for our vehicles that I carry my children in to and from everything that we do on a regular basis. And right now, when you reach out to Cassens, they're going to have 0% available on most Jeeps. So I want you to reach out to Cassens if you're looking for a vehicle in the near future and tell them Andy sent you. You're going to get treated wonderfully. You're going to get treated exactly the way I would be treated there. And with 0% financing available on most new Jeeps, you're going to find out that when others can't, Cassens can. 618-800-2712. 618-800-2712. Online at cassenscan.com.
Student loans can be a strain on your family. For a limited time, the Springfield, Missouri Police Department is offering qualifying new officers up to $12,500 to help ease the burden of student loans. If you're driven, honest, and team-oriented, we want to talk to you about joining our next paid police academy. Start serving your community as a leader of it with the Springfield Police Department. Visit gospd.com for more information. That's gospd.com. Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Wednesday, September 25th, join the Annie Fry Show in St. Charles as we support Princess Storm's annual diaper drive. You can buy diapers at Ruler Foods to donate right there on the spot, or bring your own. Come say hi. Wednesday, September 25th.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Glad you're here. We have a Fed rate cut for, it's a 0.5%.
Yeah.
0.5%? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I think they say 50 basis points. It's a 0.5%.
All right. Thanks for mansplaining that to me. I appreciate that, Ryan Wiggins.
Yeah,
Did you read that in a poll? That's really what feminists hear when men start talking, what you just
Should
said
I
there.
just do that in the future? When my wife asks me a question?
I don't know. Which wife are we talking about?
The one that lives here.
The feminist or not the feminist?
Not the feminist.
Not the feminist. Well, I don't know. She might actually listen to what you have to say. If you actually say the yabba dabba do stuff to an actual feminist who just only hears you mansplaining because you are a man who happens to explain something that they may not understand, that's just what they hear.
I'm going to start doing more man spreading as well. On planes. And on the couch.
What? What are you talking about?
I'm just trying to come up with other ways to be a chauvinist. And there are many, and I'm going to participate in all of them.
Don't work too hard.
I won't. I'm going to let her do all the work.
The YouTube live chat poll for today. Are you paying attention to polls? Yes or no? We want to know what you think about this. And we've got some comments here from folks who have been reacting on the YouTube live chat throughout the course of the day. Lincoln says, I'm not paying attention to polls because left's just bullying about it. I don't know what that is. Okay, Jackie says, yes, I check the polls every once in a while. Vicky says no to polls. Joe says, do I check the polls? Yes. Do I believe the polls? ... I guess that's a no. Paul says the polls are a scoreboard. One good play and the other team scores. Repeat. I'll watch the last inning. 2 minutes. Turn 4. 18th hole. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. All right. So I told Ryan he could take over from here and talk about what's going on in the polls and that I would just very, very vehemently support him in doing so.
Thank you very much. The things that I like that I'm seeing in the polls since Kamala Harris became the candidate by 0 votes is that I just kind of snuck that in there. I know.
It's not sneaking it in there if you talk about it.
You're right.
You need us to say you just snuck that in there.
Yeah. So next
but we're
time.
not going to say that.
Next time.
The audio version of a big wink.
So what I'm liking that I'm seeing in the polls is that in 2016 and 2020, in 2016, they weren't even really polling some of the Rust Belt states. But when they did, Hillary Clinton had a huge lead. In 2020, Biden had a lead in basically every swing state poll. Other than maybe a poll here or there from Georgia or Arizona, you never really saw him leading outside of those 2 states, and it was very rare that you did. You never saw Nevada at all. So that one is kind of a surprise that's become such a swing state all of a sudden. And then Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, those were states that he almost never led in 2020. This time, you see those states back and forth, depending on the poll, depending on the week. So that tells me that this is going to be, again, Trump overperforms polls historically.
Why?
We think, we in the
Who's
polling community.
Who is we?
We think
we
that
we
there is a contingency of people called the hidden Trump voter. Now, are those people still around after 2 cycles? This would be the 3rd cycle voting for Trump.
According to CBS, I think it was, when they went to Nevada, the hidden Harris voter was the problem because they couldn't find any.
Exactly. So
is it the same thing or is it different?
It's probably no, because the culture would dictate that you would be much more accepted if you openly support Harris, just like pop stars are coming out and these people, they're not going to have any ramifications for supporting Harris as if they did Trump. So I still think that
There's
exists.
a lot of ramifications for supporting Harris, just not as much cultural.
Not as much just immediate.
More realistic.
Yes.
More
down,
of the
down
ones
the
that
line.
matter.
Yeah. So I do think that voter still exists. I would say the optimistic Kamala Harris voter says, and I've seen articles suggesting this, not just me saying, but articles suggesting that the optimistic Kamala Harris voter thinks that the polls have corrected for the last 2 cycles where Trump overperformed. The optimistic Trump voter says, no, the polls are doing the exact same thing they always do. They're underestimating Trump. I would tend to lean that way because the polls haven't changed in the off-year cycles, 2018, 2022, they actually got it pretty right. Trump is really unique in the fact that he alone overperforms polls. So I don't think that's going to be any different this year, and that suggests that
Can you tell us some of the polls?
Sure. The more recent ones
that you like to look at?
Well, I actually really like the New York Times Siena poll. I think it's been a very accurate one. I really do like Trafalgar, too. We have Robert C. Cahaley on the show.
Monday.
Oh, he's coming back Monday. Great.
Yep.
He's excellent at analyzing data, and
and bow ties.
He also is good at bow ties.
Mm-hmm.
He's had great presidential cycles. So 2020, Trafalgar was right on it. They were one of the top. I think they were number 2 poller in the country. So they are somebody that is very much worth listening to. And the people who consistently have good track records, that's who you want to look at. I like local polls a lot too, because the national ones, a lot of times they're tied to different media outlets, and those media outlets have an agenda. The LA Times, for instance, they do a poll that was really accurate in 2016. CNN did the same thing. That all of a sudden in 2020, they said, why don't we change our methods? No, you were accurate in 2016, and you just wanted to skew things in 2020. So a lot of those are tough. You really got to dig in.
Why would somebody want to skew a poll?
Well, especially when you're tied to a media outlet, because the
like
media...
This sounds like an oral exam.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously,
you're
though,
you're doing a great
job.
job.
Yeah, what advantage would that be to that organization if in fact all they do is, by skewing the poll, set their the people that trust their polls up for failure and possibly, distrust in their polls? What is the advantage of that?
Well, with an agency like Siena, now I haven't seen that from them, but they're a good example. When they tied themselves to New York Times, all of a sudden, New York Times is now paying the bills. So New York Times might go to them and say, we want you to do X, Y, Z, and we're in charge.
But why would New York Times want to do that is kind of what I'm getting at.
Well, because they're trying to persuade people.
Oh, okay.
And CNN did that. LA Times did that. Because their 2016 polls were actually pretty good, and then they changed their methodologies. And there's no reason for them to do that.
So for no other reason than to maybe demoralize one side or the other, or juice up the other.
Yes, that's a fact. That does happen. It always comes down to who's paying the bills and what's their agenda. And so you got to look at track records for these polls. And again, back to my point that I think some of the local polls actually are better in that sense because they know their people a little bit better. They're right there on the ground in that area. College polls, there's one from Atlanta Journal-Constitution that just came out today that has Trump up by 3 in Georgia. These are polls where they're not necessarily, there's not some big conglomerate paying them to do this. This is their own poll for their own purposes. So right now, you see, it's amazing how much you see this. It's back and forth. You see Pennsylvania. You'll see one come out one day that says, like USA Today the other day, Harris up by 3. The same day, Pennsylvania, Insider Advantage, also a very reputable poll. Doesn't have the name of USA Today, but very good. Trump up by 2.
Exactly why my answer to this poll question is no. I'm going to go through some of the RealClearPolling.com averages, and I'm going to not do president right now. I'm going to do Senate because I think this is something not many people are talking about. Ohio, Sherrod Brown is up for re-election. He's up by 3.6 points. I think it's really interesting to look at the Trump numbers in polls compared to the Senate numbers, which I think shows how much money and longevity talks in our Congress. But you've got Brown, he's the Democrat, up by 3.6 points. He's an incumbent. In Pennsylvania, you have Casey up 4.3 points. That's Democrat. In Montana, you've got Sheehy up 5.2 points. That would be a flip over Senator Tester, who is the incumbent there. So that would be a pickup of 1 for the Republicans. In Wisconsin, the Democrat senator up 4.7 points in that congressional race. Michigan, Slotkin up 5 points. That's the Democrat. In Arizona, that Kari Lake race, she's losing by 4.5 points to Gallego. And in Maryland, the Democrat there over Governor Hogan is up. The Democrats up 5 points. So there's only one Republican flip out there in an incredibly favorable Republican landscape for this coming election. But how well Donald Trump performs over how poorly Kamala Harris performs has an incredible ripple effect on the makeup of of Congress. And if Donald Trump gets at least 2 years with a Republican House and a Republican Senate, if they get that and they don't get stuff done, I'm going to be outraged. The Electoral College RCP average has Harris up by 0.6 in Pennsylvania.
A Senate, West Virginia's up too, but that one's not even close.
Yeah, these are just the swing ones. Sorry. Back to the Electoral College. Pennsylvania, you've got Kamala Harris up at 0.6, and this is the average. If you were Kamala Harris and you're only up 0.6 in Pennsylvania on the Real Clear polling average, you are not happy. North Carolina, Trump up 0.4. Georgia, Trump up 0.7. Arizona, Trump up 1.3. Wisconsin, Harris by 1.1. Michigan, Harris 1 point. Nevada, Harris by 0.5. The biggest lead listed here is Donald Trump in Arizona at 1.3 points, which means they're all likely within the margin of error. The national poll, this does not matter to me, other than Harris is an absolute expectation to win. She has the biggest states. She has the urban areas. Like I've said this before, if every single person in New York and California, and you could throw Illinois in there, those are the three largest cities. Chicago is the third largest city in the country, behind Los Angeles and New York. If you had every single person in those states voting for Kamala Harris versus just one more, if they won that state by one vote, it's still effectively the exact same outcome in the Electoral College. So people want to talk about, you get a lot of people who are obviously on the left because they traditionally win the national vote, and that's generally speaking, you don't have Republicans who win the national vote who lose the Electoral College. That's where the push to get rid of the Electoral College is consistently coming in. But we had smart founding fathers. They designed it this way. Obviously, Democrats can win under this circumstance too, but you can't just serve the people in 3 or 4 states and win an election and forget about the rest of the people in this country. It's not how you have a United States of America. Otherwise, it would just be America, and we wouldn't have to have all the federalism that we have. So those are some of the breakdowns of the poll. The national polling average right now is Harris +2, which is not very much. And you can go into looking at several ones on the national side that are not as favorable to her. Atlas Intel, I don't know what that is, Trump +3. Rasmussen has Trump +2, and the New York Times Siena has Trump +1 in the national poll. That has got to have the Kamala Harris camp shaking in their boots as well, because they should be dominating in the national poll and then hope that replicates itself in the Electoral College. Let's take a quick break. Continue sending your comments here for us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, and let us know if you do follow polls, if you don't follow polls. Kenton says polls are like yard signs. They don't vote. I think Trump is always under polling. Betsy says, no, unless it's discussed here, that's what counts. And Russell said, do I look at them? Yes. Do they mean anything? Not sure they do either way in the long run. Keep them coming. Know what your votes are. Cast them at the Annie Fry YouTube channel in the live chat portion of the broadcast, and leave a comment. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Just where you stand, right by my side. We're on top.
TheDiamondShop.net. Have you visited them online recently? I hope you have. But if you haven't, you can punch them in right now. TheDiamondShop.net. They're in Clayton, Missouri. Go check them out in store for sure. Hurry up and get to that annual clearance sale, up to 70% off. Beautiful, beautiful, sparkling things in the Diamond Shop. It's through the 21st, so you need to get there. You need to get that going and find that beautiful piece that you've been looking for yourself, for your loved one. The Diamond Shop will guide you through that buying process. Respect your budget when you come in and you start talking to them. They look at you if you're looking to spend $50, the same as if you're looking to spend $5,000. They're going to care for you. They are going to work to grow their relationship with you. There are so many people who generationally come back to the Diamond Shop to buy from them because they can be trusted. That's what counts. If you want to become a VIP and get access to extra savings and information, you just go online to their website and their homepage, scroll to the bottom, fill out a quick form, VIP, that's you, thediamondshop.net.
It's not just about watching the game, it's about betting on it. I'm Mike Valeni, and on Cash the Ticket, Jim Costa and I break down every college football and NFL matchup like it's the last game we're ever going to watch. From the best bets to the sneaky underdogs, and of course, as my co-host likes to say, the value. And the one thing we're not going to do is pretend we're professionals. We have fun with it, it's an entertainment product, and it makes watching games a hell of a lot of fun. So Cash the Ticket, follow it in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
When you bought your home, you took on more than just a house payment. You spend weekends on upkeep, repairs drain your bank account, and with your equity locked up, you can't do anything. You love your home and want to stay, but it's a constant struggle. What if you could sell your home, reclaim your weekends, and not have to move? You can with TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. TrueHold will buy your home now while the market is high. You can bank all that equity in cash and stay in your home with a lease. Plus, you won't have to worry about property taxes, insurance, or upkeep anymore. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Join thousands that have secured their retirement, paid off bills, and financed their dreams. Get an offer now while the market is hot. Call 1-855-300-9993. That number again is 1-855-300-9993. Or visit TrueHold.com to cash out your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com. Don't wait. Call now. 1-855-300-9993. Or visit TrueHold.com.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner? You may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. 97.1 on the Odyssey app on your phone. The easiest way to listen when you don't have a radio. For everything in the news.
Your home for conservative talk.
The Odyssey app. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Now it's coming back, we can steal it. If we bridge this gap, I can see you through the curtains of the waterfall. When I lost it, yeah, you held my hand, but I tossed it. Didn't understand you were waiting as I dove into the waterfall. So say Geronimo, say Geronimo, say Geronimo.
Welcome back. Annie Fry Show. We're waiting on results here from today's poll. Are you paying attention to polls? Yes or no? Let us know what you think at the Annie Fry YouTube channel, and you can leave some comments there as well. Here's an article I've got: 10 things in life you should always keep to yourself, according to Psychology. It's an article written by Lachlan Brown, smallbusinessbonfire.com. Are you an overshare or an undershare, Ryan?
I'm going to let you take a wild guess about that.
I just thought it would be nicer if I just asked you and let you answer for yourself.
I'm an overshare.
You are. Do you know yourself to be?
Yeah. And I try to reel it back. I always feel like I got to give an explanation or something. I'm like, as I get older, I'm like, I don't really.
But what about like just telling, well, what do you mean by an explanation?
Like if for instance, we got invited to a class reunion recently, and I have something going on that night. I might have been able to make it work. And I just had to say, I can't make it. Instead of, no, here's what's going on in my schedule that makes me not able to make it.
And why do you
my
do
default. Because I feel bad. I want the person to know that they planned a fine event. I would like to attend it, but I can't.
The intention is to show remorse and an explanation so that they know that you're not blowing them off.
Yes.
Are you an overshare or an undershare?
I think it depends on who you are. For the most part, I'm an undersharer, but if we have a really close relationship, then I might be an oversharer because it takes me a long time to build up that trust to know what I can and cannot share with somebody.
I'm just strictly an undersharer. Any arguments?
No. No, you're an undershare. For sure.
I think that my reasoning for being an undershare, I have a very, what I consider, G-Whip says, TMI, Wiggins.
Yeah, sorry.
I feel like okay, this is twofold because it depends on who we're talking about. If it's my personal life, that's one thing. If it's my professional life, it's another thing. And I have a strong delineation in my mind where those things start and stop. But it's nice to be asked about things because that's an indication that people care about you. But at the same time, if I know someone cares about me, it's like I don't need the obligatory ask. I just assume people aren't that interested in general. People are never honestly as interested in sharing the details of somebody else's whatever, but they may care. So because usually you have conversations with people, and it's not you, but anybody has conversations, and a lot of times it's a ping pong back and forth of, I'm going to talk about me, now Ryan's going to talk about Ryan, and then Annie's going to talk about Annie, and then Ryan's. It's very rare to find people who are like completely and totally focused and asking you for more of what you're saying or diving deeper. And I don't meet many people like that. I am not inherently like that, but I've learned to be like that. Part of my job is to ask those questions and show intent. It's just not a natural human thing to be like, I would like to focus entirely on something other than myself. That's not the human condition to think that way. But also, if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody, and it doesn't have to be like a romantic relationship at all. It can be a friendship. It could have been a marriage or a relationship. It could be an organization you're associated with. It could be a job that you had and people who you worked with. It could be a church that you went to or a community that you were involved in. If you like gave completely of yourself in that regard and it punches you in the face, for me, I'm done. I don't want to so it's a very defensive thing for myself personally to not get hurt again, to willfully put myself out there and start talking in a way that is sharing things to find out that, oh, they didn't care, or maybe they never did care, or maybe they didn't care as much. So I think that's for me something that I implement, and I'm not really like, if I say that, it might be like, oh, Annie, it's okay. I'm good with it at this point in my life. I think when you have a job and a family or a relationship or kids or whatever, and you're going all over the place, like right now, I don't really have time to shoot the stuff with people randomly, but I do know that when my kids are gone, the fact that I'm not like looking out and trying to appropriate all of these relationships and grow them, I do wonder what it's going to be like on the other end of this, where I'm fully invested and focused on my family and my husband. I mean, we're in that together. It's not an apart thing. That the closed offness that I have, that I am comfortable with right now, that's going to not be great in 20 years.
I have no idea. I really do, because I look at people who are in that phase of life, and I look at some people are really involved.
Post-kids at home life?
Post-kids, empty nesters. And you're really involved with something. You may be involved with the Rotary Club or your church or whatever. There are people who they plug in, and I mean they give of their time and efforts and energy to stuff all the time. I also see people who completely go the other way, and they don't really associate with anybody, and they're fine with it. And I don't know if that's one of them seems more healthy than the other, but I also think that there are advantages to both. So I don't know. I don't know which way I'll go.
I've also noticed too that like raising kids, I think that there are certain things I'm going to encounter that are going to be impossible to deal with. And then they happen and you're like, oh, I think it's a God thing. I think God prepares me to do that as a mother. These are things that you should always keep to yourself according to this article. Personal goals and ambitions.
Personal goals and ambitions. That seems like the reason to live. Why would you not want to share that with people? I mean,
because they don't have your best interests at heart.
Ooh, now if you're around a bunch of scoundrels, then I think yes. But if you're around friends, that's the kind of stuff you talk about.
Do you ever feel the urge to announce your big dreams to the world? It's quite a natural feeling, but psychology suggests it might not be the best course of action. According to a study published in Psychological Science, when you share your goals, the acknowledgement you receive from others can trick your brain into thinking you've already achieved them.
Ooh, that's kind of a nice trick, though, because then you feel like you've accomplished something without doing anything.
So you say you're an oversharer, huh?
This can lead to a decreased motivation to actually work towards these goals.
Sounds like a nice place to be.
Number 2, personal struggles and conflicts. We all have battles we're fighting, and sometimes it feels therapeutic to share these with others. But here's an experience I've had that may make you rethink that. A few years back, I was going through a difficult time, and I felt the need to share my struggles with almost everyone I met. Instead of feeling better, I ended up feeling more drained and helpless. It seemed like my problems magnified with every retelling. Also, if you share them with, like, you could be surrounded by people who you love and who care about you and they love you. I don't need those problems to be a part of my existence elsewhere if I have other focuses elsewhere. And I don't need I don't need to show up somewhere and be like, oh, how's it going with such and such? How are they doing? Are they getting better? Like, sometimes you're like, I need to focus on this thing. And I don't want to come into this scenario where I need to work or coach or parent maybe, and it's a work thing, and now have to take the baggage. Like, that, to me, it's like you're always carrying one huge piece of luggage on your back. I'd rather carry smaller ones in different places so I don't have to deal with other things.
It's a fine line because when somebody approaches you and says, hey, how's such and such going? You could take that in a couple ways. One is that, hey, you were thoughtful. You're thinking about something I've been going through or somebody near me has. That's nice. The other thing you could think is, that's the only thing this person thinks about me is the struggle. And that's not really what you want to lead with.
Well, the other side of that is, too, and this is another aspect to what Annie was saying. I don't like to talk about my problems and my struggles because that might be the only thing that other person knows about me. And there's so much more to me than whatever struggle's going on or whatever, from having a difficult time with a friendship or whatever. That might pit that other person against my friend who I'm just having a difficult time with in a moment over something.
It's like I can make fun of, I can say something like about my husband, but you can't say something about my husband.
Right. And you don't want to shade somebody's view of your spouse or your friends or whatever. And so, you keep that to yourself. But I think that is hard sometimes, too, because you do want to go and get advice on working through whatever struggle is. But
do you?
Sometimes. Wise counsel. I think it's a good thing to seek wise counsel. But it's not like you go into a group of your friends and be like, hey, this person is doing this. How do I fix it?
How many people in your life do you have that you seek out wise counsel from?
Oh,
how many people do you see in a day, Ryan?
I mean, you guys, I just walk in and I start unloading my problems every day.
That's what this is really about.
But then at 12:45, it's
silent
like,
treatment.
hey, Wiggins America's Funny. Hey, you guys. Let's talk about how to behave at a restaurant. No, I just spent a weekend.
People are going to think that you're having like an existential crisis. He is.
Oh, absolutely. I'm oversharing. I just spent a weekend doing a guys trip with 4 guys, well, 4 of us total, that I've known since high school. We talked about almost nothing. Like, it was amazing. When I come home.
Which is unimaginable for women.
Yeah, exactly. When I come home, my wife's like, hey, what'd you guys do? And I tell, we went to a smash room. You ever heard one of those? Where you go and you just break stuff in a room? That was kind of fun.
That's why you didn't have to talk about anything.
We did that kind of stuff, yeah.
You just raged.
Yeah.
Together.
And she's like, well, and the second question, did you guys talk about anything important?
That's all we want to know. We don't
really.
even care if you had fun. We're like, what's the scoop?
Yeah. So I had to admit, not really. And I feel bad because this is like the 4th annual trip. So my wife's voice is in my head going, you guys got to talk about something, don't you?
You need to create a faux friend.
Yeah.
And lifestyle for them that you can all go back and tell your significant others about the thing, so you can answer that question.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I was just talking to. You should maybe tell your wife about your other wife. So I was just talking to one of my friends, and he was talking about how there's that Jeff Foxworthy sketch where he goes out with his buddies and he comes back and he gets a text message from his buddy and it's like, oh, such and such's wife has cancer. And the wife starts asking questions. She's like, I don't know, I just got this text. And then she asks another question. He's like, I don't know, I just got this text. It's like, you didn't ask anything else to follow up? And he's like, no, I don't know, I just got this text.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a difference between men and women. Like, you want to talk about biological differences between men and women and how their brains are hardwired? That's proof. Can you spend a weekend together and not talk any crap? That's not something. Not that women only talk crap, but we're definitely going to find out the lay of the land on the key issues. Number 3, stuff that you should never share: financial status.
Oh, I usually talk about that all the time.
I usually talk about that all the time.
Well, I pull up in a Bentley and it's just like it comes up.
I don't share it, but there are signs.
Yeah. People are like, "What? Where'd you get that Rolex?" And I'm
Money
like, "I'd rather not
talk
talk
can
about
be
it."
a slippery slope. Sharing details about your financial status can often lead to unnecessary comparisons and judgments. Did you know that the study conducted by the American Psychological Association, the APA, found that money is the top cause of stress for adults? Well, no sugar, Sherlock. This stress can often get amplified when we openly discuss our financial situation, especially if it's perceived negatively by others. There's a whole push for people to talk about their income in the workplace.
There is?
Oh, heck yes.
Is that a Gen Z thing?
No, it's a feminist thing.
Really?
How
I see.
am I supposed to know that I'm making 70% of what Ryan Wiggins is making?
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
What if it were?
Well, somewhere there probably is someone making 70% of what I'm making, and that's IST. I'm not sure what IST, but it's IST something.
Wigginsist.
It's Wigginsist.
You ever been around anyone who can't stop talking about it?
Their finances?
Yeah. Or their position, or it's always kind of like sneaking its way into the conversation.
In a way, but they're never like, I make this much money, but they're always talking about what they have done with their, I made a few investments.
That is a guy thing.
Yeah.
Is to talk about it without talking about it.
Yeah, and then, so I got this motorcycle now. I was like, what happened? Well, I made a few investments and it paid off. And
I'm always talking about my investments.
Yeah, you are.
In my stocks.
But it's
and
kind of sad.
But it's so pathetic.
Both of them.
I'm not even using the right words. Yes, exactly.
I bought a stock.
No, it's a share.
It's a share
I have
in
to
a company.
correct myself every time because I was trying to learn. I'm checking my.
I got this IRO. Seems to be paying off.
I think it's an IRL.
Yeah.
I had to just check my stocks. Oh no! Wait, I need my phone for the story.
You clicked off the story to check your stocks.
No, I still have the story. The story's right here. I'm in a different studio. Everything is different. The number 4 is past resentments, things we should not talk about. We all have things from our past that we're not proud of or people we've had conflicts with, but constantly bringing up these past resentments isn't healthy. This is probably the one that I'm more guilty of than others, which is just if you've ever really been hosed or hurt by something and it is formative, like it's the fork in the road in your life where there's the before this thing happened or after this thing happened, and you feel like it is part of the fabric of who you are and where you are and why you are there, that can become very hard to let go. And I will specifically internalize that. So I'm very conscious of not discussing that, but it is a part of it's literally the direction of your life has been formed by something like that. Divorce can be like that.
Yeah.
If you lose a job, it can be like that. If you have maybe a very big health event, it could be like that.
Yeah, and you go back and you talk about it, and sometimes you find out that the wound's not completely healed yet.
Yeah.
That you're picking at the scar or whatever, and you're making it worse sometimes.
I remember I was in a Bible study after church one day, and people were talking about forgiveness and the understanding that, it's our obligation to forgive people. We've been forgiven. And, the question came up, like, what if they're not sorry? What if there's no remorse? And the truth is that you have to learn to forgive for yourself, as much as for the person who may not even be seeking it out. And the thing that was said in that, I think it was my pastor who said this. He's like, you forgive them, and then the next day, if you feel like it didn't stick and you feel like you need to do it again, you just do it again. Mm-hmm. You just have to keep working on it. Like, it's not like, I forgive you, and then you forget.
No, it's not like that at all. It's active.
And you, if you're being confronted with the same feelings that you kind of worked through, and you're like, okay, I'm going to let that go. And then you go a day or two or a month or two or a year or two, and you're like, this is not feel good inside. And you got to work to let that go. Maybe every time you see that person, or you go to that place, or you get, a communication. If it's a relationship you still kind of have to be in, and you still feel that it's okay to have to perpetually forgive. And the truth of the matter is, there's probably someone out there who has to treat you the same way. That there might be something that you have done over the course of time that has hurt somebody, and it's hard for that person and to see you, or to hear from you, or to experience the thing that connects you. And you kind of hope that person's able to just keep trying to provide forgiveness. It's incredibly impossible to successfully do. Thank God we have an infinite forgiveness for us on the whole. But once you start putting yourself in the mentality of, I'm going to forgive him for today, and I'm going to see how long that sticks, and then I'm going to forgive him again, and you'll deal with that when you get there, that there's actually a burden that is lifted with just simply that mentality. The understanding that I don't have to feel good about this forever, but I got to keep working on it.
Oh, I would say it out loud before I felt it, because I'd know I have to do this. I don't feel it. I'm going to say it in the belief that I'll get there.
Yeah. Yep. And keep working towards it. All right. Results to the poll about polls when we return. Don't go away.
Crushed it, but it's in the past. We can make this make through the curtains of the waterfall. So say Geronimo, say Geronimo.
The Retirement Advisory Group has yet another event coming up, and I hope you'll be there. Tuesday, October 1st is coming up at the Frontenac Hilton, and you are invited. You just got to reserve your spot. I want to know that you're coming. Reach out to the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494, and you're going to get access to this free event at the Frontenac Hilton on Tuesday, October 1st. It's the Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It costs you nothing. Just got to reserve that spot. And at 6:30, you have Bob and Tammy Kershaw and Thomas Helbig take over, and it's like 45 minutes-ish. And they talk to you about the maneuvers that you need to make to secure the hard work you've already put into your retirement. Whether you are there or you're 59 and you know that it's right around the corner, you could start thinking about these things. You need to get rid of the fear and the worry that comes with not knowing what's next and replace it with the expertise of the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group. Give them a call at 314-993-9494. I'll be there at 6 from 6 to 6:30 trying to meet each and every person that is there, along with Mark Cox and Mark Reardon. So I hope to see you. The event starts at 6:30. 314-993-9494. You find them online at retirementkey.com.
Are you a business owner looking to grow and succeed? The St. Charles Regional Chamber is here to help. I'm Scott Tate, President and CEO. As the region's largest chamber with nearly 1,200 members, we offer networking, marketing resources, educational programs, and more to support your business. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or starting out, we have the right membership option for you. Explore our investor levels for exclusive benefits or try our free basic membership. For more information, visit stcharlesregionalchamber.com.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Outdoor Living Redefined, brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design, your trusted partner in crafting stunning decks, inviting screened rooms, and elegant porch overhangs. Imagine enjoying a crisp morning coffee on your beautifully designed deck, or hosting gatherings in a spacious screened room. Lakeside turns your vision into reality. Our skilled craftsmen use top-notch materials to create spaces that stand up to the elements and stand out in style. Elevate your lifestyle with Lakeside's outdoor living expertise. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today.
We're asking you, are you paying attention to polls? Yes or no? That's today's YouTube live chat poll.
Ryan,
Ironic, isn't
Ryan
it?
Loves the poll.
It feels like an Alanis Morissette song. Are you paying attention to polls? Yes or no? The time is 2:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You know, I have pulled audio from KJP in the press briefing room now for 3 years, and I've heard her say some really stupid things, but maybe none more insipid than what I heard yesterday during a question with Peter Ducey. We're going to highlight that. We're off and running here right after Fox News at 3. Hang in there.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, it hurts to say I'm gonna
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
I'm gonna split. I can't stand it. I'm gonna give it up and quit. Ain't never coming back. But before I get to going, I got to say, I know you used to love me, but that was yesterday. And the truth, I won't fight it. When the love starts burning, you got to do what's right. Whoa, lover, lover, lover.
Welcome back.
You don't treat me.
A couple more things that you're never supposed to share, according to this study here. Last one we said was past resentments. Number 5 is personal life details. You are not supposed to share that with people. And you know, I think you've got. How many people are in your inner circle? How many people are you sharing like everything with?
Maybe 3.
I'm 1.
Yeah, 1, 3. I'd probably be 4 then.
You got 2 wives. So.
Yeah, 2 wives.
Extra.
Well, I don't share everything with each one of them, though. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Does she know about this?
No, at some point somebody's going to tell her, "Oh, I heard about Ryan's other wife," and I'm going to be like, "Oh man, I needed to get ahead of that."
You do. It should start with flowers.
No, it's my birthday.
Actually, if you give her flowers, she's going to probably think that you do have another wife.
Here's flowers. Let me tell you about the other wife thing.
Personal life details. We live in a world where sharing every detail of our lives in social media has become the norm. But is it always necessary? The answer is no. Like, how many people here at work, Ryan, are you sharing personal life details with?
I really just talked to Fred Bottomer.
It's because he makes you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
he's really intimidating.
Yeah, like he just walks up and he just sort of stands there.
He's
You're
a man
like,
who knows how to get answers.
I guess I just need to tell you what's going on.
It's awesome because Fred just looks at Ryan.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, look, I cheated on my taxes.
Fred is Fred a Fed? Ooh. Fred the Fed?
We don't know for sure. We do know that he is right outside this room and he cannot hear us right now.
He's 6 feet behind me on the other side of the studio glass, and he clearly does not have 97.1 on. Unless there's a 30-second delay
or
in which...
I mean, he may have a great poker face,
Stone cold Fred the Fed.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know. I don't know. Like the people here that I'm sharing personal life details with are you two, and it's usually like if you're in a position that you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going on at home and I might be out, or I'm feeling like maybe there's something going on and I'm going to have to be at a doctor or something like that. That's not happening, so don't worry about that. But in those instances, I'm going to talk to you guys about that. I might have to tell Steve, our boss, about it. But also, again, there's a professional obligation that he might be a little more patient with the situation.
Yeah.
If he knows the details, I'll be willing to share that.
Yeah, and the other side of that is, too, we don't communicate what we hear unless you specifically say it's okay to tell. Like if it,
we trust each other,
right?
Yeah, especially on the radio. Like I'm not going to come in and be like, okay, yesterday Brad was at the male doctor and he was telling me about it. I wouldn't do that.
The male doctor.
I have questions about what that means.
So do I.
It's like the USPS, or is that like?
Yeah, MAIL. He was having trouble getting his ballot in the mail.
Every town has one.
They call him the mail doctor. It's just like a quick name.
Can you please make a commercial that's like, are you having trouble getting your ballot in the mail?
Oh my gosh.
Come see us at the mail doctor.
That has to happen.
It's completely private.
The mail clinic.
Oh boy. Here's another one. Acts of kindness. Ever done something kind for someone and felt an overwhelming sense of joy? That's the magic of selfless giving. But what happens when we start sharing these acts publicly?
I don't know.
You've never done that before? You're not an acts of kindness guy?
I know. I tell you what.
That's what the flowers is all about.
I've met people who are less acts of kindness people than me. I've also met people who are a lot more than I am.
Doesn't it feel good when someone does that for you?
Yeah. As long as it's something that is personal to me.
Does it help if they continue to remind you that they did that thing for you?
Yeah. Because I'll forget right away because I'm not that selfless.
What about you? Anything? Can you do acts of kindness with people without having to remind?
For sure. Yeah, that's easy.
Have you ever had someone around you who does acts of kindness who's like constantly talking about how
filming it and
come
putting
see
it
how
on the
great I look?
internet? Yes. Yes, there was people that no, I'm not going into it. I could get in trouble.
We're talking about Fred the Fed. He's still not listening to us.
He's got to wonder why we keep looking at him, though.
I kind of think that he might be a Fed. He could totally pull it off. He's the nicest dressed person here. He's so professional.
Yeah.
And kind of like a calm sensibility about him.
I've never seen him get
mad
anything.
If there's anybody here who's a spy,
it's Fred.
It's Fred.
It's either him or it's me.
It ain't you.
It probably is not me because I overshare.
Number 7, your fears and insecurities. I'm not talking about that.
No
with
way.
people.
That's a weird thing to talk about with anybody,
Not
but
a
maybe your
chance.
spouse.
What about compliments received?
Oh, I'll tell everybody about those.
Somebody was you would. You
I would.
say this stuff on the air all the time.
Yeah. Somebody was just telling me yesterday about how great I am.
Family issues. I mean, that might be a situation. I don't know how deep family issues go. It could be a wide variety of things. There might be something if your kid was sick or something, you would probably share a version of that to us, and again, so that we professionally understand how maybe your mood might be or a situation like that. The last one, I'm glad we ran out of time. Your self-care rituals. Like getting into a bathtub like a psychopath before you put water in it while you're naked. Ryan Wiggins.
Maybe I'll stop putting water in it.
You did ever?
Ew.
You're just going to go sit in a tub naked?
Look, are you looking for a psychopath or not? Because I got the impression you were looking for a psychopath on your show.
Incorrect.
Well, fine. I guess I misread the situation.
Are you paying attention to polls? Yes or no, Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a no. I actually avoid them because I'm afraid of getting too excited because they're looking pretty good for Trump right now. 58% of over 300 votes said no, they're not. But that's pretty close.
Mark Reardon Show next. Don't go away.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. With Ramp, you get full visibility into your company's spending and control who spends what with each vendor. Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts instantly to save your team valuable time. Ramp automates data entry and routine tasks with automated approvals, expense categorization and bill payments, time-consuming tasks, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. Get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, Charles Payne here at one of the exciting Money Show events where I'm presenting the keynote, broadcasting my live TV show, and best of all, giving away free copies of my newest book, Unbreakable Investor. It's a $29.95 value, but if you act now, I'll give you one too.
For your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text CASH to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text CASH to 505-505. Text CASH to 505-505.
I'm handing you my investing playbook, 348 pages on how I personally invest to target the biggest returns while mitigating risk. It's how I've been with the market so I never break. Guidance so crucial for today's investors that I'm covering the cost of the book and giving you a copy for free.
To get your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text the word CASH to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text CASH to 505-505 while supplies last. Text CASH to 505-505 right now.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM.